tired of getting more power. Is it wrong for me to think times are getting more sour? My sister's scared to fly into any tall towers. Don't want drink driving but license 24 hours. How's that? Hey yo, I really don't get it. And clearly it's appearing you ain't hearing those medics. Cause I've heard the nurse complain but they don't get enough money. Since the day they pulled me out my mum's tummy. And should content be the way that you feel. Selling me something with a label that's saying it kills. Can me taking these pills really cure what's making me ill? Or another hustle to shovel more weight in your till? Not knowing each day's a blessing to we're dead and deceased. And if we keep making weapons, will there ever be peace? I really don't get it. No, I really don't get it. Like, should he really be the man that we should praise? As if sending others to do all your battling is brave. Taking steps from the cradle till we've landed in the...
Yeah. Are we live now, yeah? Oh, shit. We're there. We are here. We are everywhere. Throughout the wilderness, throughout the atmosphere. What's going on, mother lovers? We're back again. You know what I mean? As you can see, we stepped it up a little bit more. I told you, don't, you know what I mean? Don't watch what's going on with this. No, actually do watch it. Yeah, I want to build this with you lot. You know what I mean? Because like I said, there have been a lot of people that have been asking me about like Jargon. If people remember Jargon, Natural Born Spitters, he was telling me to do a podcast from years back, from ages ago. Like, you know what I mean? When Rogan was trying a thing, when he was trying, like, he was like, oh, Mice, man, you should do something like this. And I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I just didn't really see it. I didn't, you know, I didn't really get it, but I understand now because a lot more people have been telling me to do it. So this is it, man. And we're starting from scratch, as you can see. Shout out to my boy DNA. Switch it. Yeah, you see that? We switched the cameras now. D's got it. He's got a mic as well. You better say something, D.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, see it there? So we stepped that up. You know what I mean? From the last. This is hilarious, man. Yeah, yeah, man. And I think we're going to call it the Mysdiggi podcast. Is that right? Let us know what you lot think, man. Mysdiggi podcast. It could be Mice Investigates, or it could be, what was the other one? It was Mice to Meet You. That's it. But I think Mice to Meet You might work in terms of interviewing people. And so today, you know, last week we did an interview in studio. You know, that worked all right. We set up the mic there. I had C swing on the couch. Shout out to Black Einstein. But this week, we stepped it up even more. You know, it's not just like shout to DNA with the background and you see the little logo there. Am I pointing? Look, you know what I mean? See the little logo there? We stepped it up even more, and we're going to speak to an artist via Skype. Do you know what I mean? Because people from my era, they're not just artists, but just people in general. Yeah, I know people from my era, this whole like moving into the digital world thing, it's a task. It's not, people don't just get into it straight away. Like, yeah, bruv, now I'm streaming, let me, I email you the thing. And nah, man, I was with my people the other day. I had to help them upload videos. Do you know what I mean? To send me by email. When I'm telling man, yeah, bruv, if you put it up on WeTransfer, like you could put up the raw version of the video and send it, and I can grab it. But they were baffled with all of that. Like, they couldn't do it. It's like, bruv, let me just send it to your WhatsApp now. I'm like, right, I might have got to upgrade a bit. The dinosaurs died out because they couldn't evolve. Just remember that shit. Whether it's real or not, the story, the myth, you know what I mean? The legend, the fact that if you don't evolve, if you don't in some way kind of just get with the times, even if you don't rate the times, you might not be into it. Like, we're not into all of this, what's going on now, but we've got to adapt and work our way through, weave through, you know what I mean? You might hear me talk about shit, only you can hear it. Other people won't know what we're talking about, because obviously, you know what happens on here. But, you know, so you got to evolve. So shout out to the crew that's in the chat room so far. Who's that? Craig, RS, big up. Shout out to Bloke. What's that? Bloke Masterson. He said I was listening to that. What? From Hawaii. Shout out to Hawaii in the house. This is what I'm talking about, man. We get to speak to our people all around the world now. You know? Before we're thinking about, right, maybe one day, bro, I wouldn't mind going over to Hawaii somehow, some way. But now, at least I could speak to people from Hawaii. We can find what's going on out there, man. How's it feeling out there? Bloke Masterson, let us know, man. Over here, it's meant to be spring going into summer, but it feels like winter going into shit. That's what it feels like right now. I ain't really going into anything decent. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be out in shorts. You know, some of us are anyway. We're supposed to be DNA's in shorts. You know what I mean? He can handle the wilderness. Some of us can't. Like, I nearly put on my long johns today. I'll be frank with you lot. You know what I mean? I nearly put them on deep. I see the wind out there. And certain people out there, they're masked up and everything looking like something out of Star Wars. like 3 hoodies on and shit.
Someone said yesterday it's 6 months until Christmas. 6 months until Christmas Day yesterday. Yeah. So we ain't even had summer yet.
No, boy, 6 months until
we're
Christmas
counting down.
Already.
We're already halfway through the.
That's messed up, man. Yeah, thanks for that, D. That's a very enlightening moment there. I'm happy with myself now. Shout out, and even to make it even worse, like bloke, he's saying that blue skies and warm all day. Thanks, man. That's even, you know what I mean? Some trade winds in his area too. Okay, well, you know, like this is next level, bro. This is like, it's meant to be spring. It's meant to be like deers bouncing around, bunny rabbits and shit. Ain't shit, man. Fuck, you know, bro. Like bees and that, they're baffled. They're like, yo, I feel like I should be out here putting in work, but it's too wet. Nah, fuck that shit, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to the crew out there. So yeah, man. So like I said, we're getting this together, Mysdiggi podcast. And what I want to do, you know, it's not just about me. It's about like, I feel like the scene needs other outlets as well, where we can let people know what's going on. We can all spread the word about releases or upcoming events that are, you know, and just chat as well, man. Just, you know, like a lot of artists end up just going on a radio station, performing their track. Maybe it might be just a little bit of talking, hear the track, and then they're done. You know, and it's all about just about this track that's out, and the track, and hey, don't forget the track, and that's it, done. But you don't get to hear much more about the artist. And I feel like this is a place where we can do that. We can talk to people about whatever the fuck we want, rather than what the radio station needs you to do, or, you know, what your label presses you into talking about, or whatever. Whether that happens, I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, so shout out to all the people locked in. There's more of them. Shout out to Ethan Herbert. He's saying little less exotic, but big up from Cardiff. Woo! Get another show down here when live gigs are a thing again. And we've been missing decent hip-hop nights. Definitely, man. If we can get down to Cardiff, what? Bruv, I'm telling you, like, how I'm feeling now, think about how it must be for artists that ain't getting to perform, whether it be in the theatre, you know. There are so many artists that aren't getting, like, bruv, that first gig, it's going to be, there's like all types of mess going to be on the stage, man. You need like buckets of mops. Yo, people going to be busting their nut everywhere, boy. It's going to be madness. Yeah, but I can't wait. The first gig I get to do, like I said, it's going to be Earth, Wind and Fire on these Mother Lovers. Like, I might literally dress up like every member of Earth, Wind and Fire and just massacre the stage. Literally. Because, not getting to perform. This is fucking weird, man. It's weird, bruv. That's how it's got.
But it's the, you know, that's the thing. It's the thing that you do, and then it gets taken away from you. So it's one of the unseen victims, really, isn't it? Live music.
Yeah. I think like people have definitely felt it. Like now, I don't think it's unseen at all. I think like personally, if I'm honest, I feel like the music scene hasn't really said or done a lot to kind of stand up to what's been going on. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether it's like the fear of losing fans or losing their their place in the level of hierarchy or whatever, like or the ties to sponsors and whatnot. But I feel like the music world's been pretty like consider, and especially the hip hop world, man. I probably mentioned it already, but considering the enlightenment that we were getting from the 90s and that, like the type of things people were talking about from Razkaz to the coup, or even up to Dead Prez and Immortal Technique. There's so many artists, even Vinnie Paz and all that. And I don't know, it feels like the hip hop world's kind of been quiet about.
Should we bring someone else in on this conversation?
Yeah,
this
it
sounds
sounds
like a conversation that two people.
Let's
could
do
have.
that, man.
Yeah.
Someone was asking, who was asking about the Skype guest? It was Craig RS. Well, guess what? We got my brother from another mother lover over here on Skype. Let's see. Let's make sure it works. Let's make sure it works before we get too excited. See, I told you to step it up, I told you to step it up still.
Yay!
Yes. Man like Emcee, Killa. What's going on? Is he up there?
What's going on, bro?
There we go. There we go. How are you,
Good.
brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. What about you?
Feeling good, man. You know what I mean?
Good,
As you
good,
see, we
good.
got the setup here. We
Mate, it's looking
decided.
good, man. And I was listening back to the past shows as well,
Oh,
like
for real?
the stuff with brain tax and stuff like that, which I've been wanting to hear you talk about for a long time, man. So
Do you feel like you got enough from that? Like what? I can't
yeah,
remember what.
yeah. But I hope people that wanted to hear it got to hear it, and if they haven't, everyone needs to share that, man. Otherwise, we'll just talk about it again.
You know how it goes, isn't it? It's a funny scene,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, it was for me as a UK hip hop fan, not just as an artist, but it was like it was a big time, wasn't it? A lot of rumors and stuff like that were going on, and it never got clearly addressed at the time because things weren't as digital as they are now,
Yeah.
So I guess now's as good a time as any, I guess,
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I think everyone went through their own situation, with brain tax. So that's another reason why people probably feel like they don't fully understand what was going on, because it was
Yeah.
like, so and so, I don't know, task force, and then might have their situation, and then Rodney, or I mean, so I think that was another part of it as well. But I felt like that was, if I'm gonna do it, I best do it on here, so that no one else gets into any.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it's you, saying what you need to say because you were involved rather than someone trying to squeeze questions in whatever way they want to, you know what I mean? It's like you can just address it yourself and that's it.
Yeah, and it's long-winded as well. That's the other part about it, is that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not as simple as just like, oh, mama did this and blah, blah. It was like, right, it's just seeing, there's a lot of things I didn't mention because I don't want to sound like because I'm not bothered about it anymore, but a lot of people ask. But there's a lot of things that my mum was getting on with that for me, like my upbringing and the way I kind of look at the world, I could see like, yeah, it's not right. You know what I mean?
No.
But yeah,
No.
so. But
And it's also that the people that were involved in all of that were really big artists in the scene at the time as well. So the mistrust that came off of the back of that affected a lot of the people that were doing really, really well in the scene at the time. So
yeah, you're not lying
the
about
the
that.
the domino effect that it had was quite deep, really.
Yeah. When you're saying about
Still
mistrust,
around today.
it took
Yeah, it is.
it took me a
Yeah.
while. It took me a while until I felt like, okay. And even then, you know what I mean? It's like I started to suss who was who just off the way they act, the way people, it's obviously like they say, actions speak louder than words, innit? And
Yeah.
you can say as much as you want to say, which is what the music world, in sort of the background is what happens. A lot of people do a lot of talking, There's always like, oh yeah, we can do this, or maybe, you know, all these ideas are always floating, but that doesn't necessarily mean these things are gonna manifest. You know, like, and that happens a lot. It's probably like, I'd say like 70 to 80% of the time
Yeah.
is a lot of communication is like that, and off the back of working with my men and you know, just sussing what's going on, seeing the thing, and then you got hindsight after you go
Yeah.
through it yourself. Like, okay, right, this guy is a bit of a weirdo, is a bit dodgy, and then you start to look back and you're like, oh, see, yeah, this, and I remember this guy saying this thing about, you know, his presses were great, but then, you know what I mean, all this thing, boy. So it's madness,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, let's get into more positive things, my brother.
Yeah.
Good to
Yeah.
see you,
Definitely.
man.
Definitely.
Hey. So
You been all right though?
yeah, I've been good, man. I've been, you know, getting into writing again, like heavily. I took a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit of
Good.
a break just because, you know, sometimes I feel like you need to breathe in and then breathe
Yeah.
out again another time. So yeah, I just took a little bit break, but then been back on it again. So definitely been grinding. What about yourself, man? You been busy?
I'm the same. Yeah. I've had some breaks as well. You know, because it's just you just got to gather your thoughts. I think sometimes, haven't you? And you know, just let things simmer down for a little bit, and
Yeah.
then come at it again. And you know, it comes in waves. I think a lot of the time, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you
That's it.
know, it's also because it's been such a mad year. I don't think you don't want to rush into, you know, going into certain ideas and topics about things until you've really sort of had a look at things properly. And
Yeah, we
you
did a
know,
little something though, innit? We did a little
yeah.
like Harry
But then
Dunn.
now I guess that was more.
That was
I
fun,
don't know,
man.
man. It was centered around the topic, I guess, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. And it's things that were going on, you know. What felt good about it, it was I was able to like just let loose the thoughts that I've been gathering over the time over that period of time. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's like
exactly.
it's funny how I didn't really think anything would be too controversial in our world, in the hip hop world. I
Mm,
thought like
mm.
everyone would kind of be on the same page, but obviously this is, well, you know, I just think when fear's involved, it's a whole, people just act differently. So it's surprising
Of
to me,
course,
but
man.
I get it. You know, looking on both sides, I definitely get it, and it's a shame. I don't think people should be as scared as they are, but you know, and
Well,
like I said,
nah,
it was
but you
fun to
know,
let
when
off on
we
that.
listened to hip hop, when I listened to hip hop when I was younger, there was loads of things people said that technically in real life I wouldn't have done or agreed with,
Mm.
but you listen because it interests you, isn't it? You know, now I think there is sometimes too much. If people don't like what you say, just move on to someone else. You know, why do you have to sit back and sort of pick at everything all the time? You know, you either like it or you don't.
Yeah, yeah, that's it, man. I don't blame you for saying that, but not at all,
Nah,
man.
but you know, you listen to stuff, you know, hip hop about people shooting each other and blah blah blah. I wouldn't sit there and go, oh, you know, I'm really offended by those words. You know, you wouldn't listen to hip hop
Yeah, people
if you
nitpick,
were, you know.
right? It's like they nitpick, but I also feel like when emotions are attached to it, because
Yeah,
you know, I've felt offended from seeing people, you know, some of the stuff they're posting about, you know, but it's like they don't really know my story, and
yeah,
so
yeah,
because
yeah,
of that,
yeah.
I should understand that. Yeah, maybe they don't, and it's the same thing. A lot of people are out there saying stuff where I'm kind of a bit offended, man, but I don't even want to draw. I don't want to like be attached to that identity anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because
No,
it's all like just
no,
false shit anyway. It's like everybody's got lives differently and has their own opinion. No one's exactly the same, but then
exactly.
a lot of us like to group ourselves into certain communities and ideologies and which become labels, you know, and so it's like, oh, the leftists think this and the rightists think, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
shit, man, you lot, and I'm not really, you know, I don't think,
no.
I think people
But
get
that's a
lost in
safety
all
and
that.
numbers thing, isn't it? You know, people wanna, you know, just be with somebody who shares the same opinion just to be safe, you know,
Safety
rather
in
than
numbers, yeah.
going out and thinking I'm on my own here, but I don't care. I'm still going to say it because it's what I believe,
Mm, yeah,
you
that's
know.
very true, boy. Very true, man.
That's just the herd mentality, I guess, isn't it? Which is the common phrase at the moment.
Yeah, herd
Yeah,
immunity,
yeah.
herd
Herd
mentality.
immunity.
The Shep herder.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
exactly.
So let's talk about this track, man, because I know it's not out properly yet. But
No,
when I saw this, I was like, this is a combination, boy. Whoever masterminded this,
yeah,
they
yeah.
got
I'm real
their
excited
ear
about it, man.
their ears
Yeah, so
intact.
it's a guy called Anonymous. It's a long story that I'll cut short, but like basically he was into the Caxton Press music back in the day.
Mm.
He's from New York or from New Jersey, and also found out he had English roots. He was trying to find his family tree over in the UK, so I
I
helped
see.
him out a little bit to, locate this possible family that he had in Plymouth, and
Is it?
it ended up, yeah, but these people were like serious wrong-uns, man. Yeah, I was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to meet these people? Because I was like, I'm not sure
Well,
you
how
want to
did you
be
track them down?
relatives of these people. But anyway, so he ended up coming over to the UK, but he didn't end up going on that, like that venture. But he stayed in London for a little while, and I
Wait,
just
but
got to know him from there,
how
really.
did you track them down though?
Now he did it through Facebook, but he
Okay,
done it
okay.
through his just through his surname, and basically he's got a record that his dad left from a ship from Plymouth and went to Cuba. But like Plymouth was obviously a big port at the time, so I think he could have been a traveller going through there or whatever. He weren't necessarily from Plymouth.
Hmm.
So he was looking at people who lived in Plymouth with his surname, and obviously this certain family come up. But I was it didn't look like the people he'd want to meet, to be
Okay.
honest. It's quite a funny story. But he came over anyway, and we went out for a. As soon as he came, we had a gig in North Wales that night, Caxton Press, and I said, "Do you want to come?" So he got in the car with us, went up to North Wales. So this guy's from New Jersey. As soon as we got to North Wales, they were all speaking Welsh to each other, and like his knowledge of the world was not as like wide as it could be. You know what Americans can be like sometimes. So, and like for him to just be hearing Welsh,
Yeah, it must have
it
been
was
tough.
the funniest thing I've ever seen. He just could not get his head around it at all. So he's like, "So we're in Britain, but they're speaking another language." And it's like, "Yeah, yeah, they're speaking Welsh," and he's just like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" He couldn't understand it at all.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, I met him, and we just like we've done a few tracks together, things like that. But he's ended up hooking up with this Anno Domini beats guy, who's quite well known in the underground scene and stuff like that. And I think he's done like a package with him, which has included a Killer Priest coming on a track, and then there was another track he's released with Planet Asia on it as well.
Mm.
And he did that as a first single, and then this is the second single, this one. So he's asked me to feature on it as well, which obviously, it's an honor to do something like that.
Yeah, man.
And you also have to come correct on it as well. And I hope that I did, because
Woo!
that was definitely my intention to do that, because you can't be coming half-assed on them kind of things. So
Yeah. Nah. You came through, bruv. You represented definitely, boy. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Because when I saw that, I was like, what? And it's one of them
yeah,
things where you think, like, yeah, Killer, MC Killer and Killer Priest combinate, let alone the names match. But
yeah,
it's like, yeah, hearing you two on a beat, what the fuck would that be like? Because it's a really good combo. And then, yeah, we'll play a bit of it here.
yeah.
But yeah,
His
hearing
his
that, I was just
his
like,
his
what?
he just paints pictures with his words. It's like he's so like so descriptive and puts
Yeah,
so many thoughts in your head when you hear him, man. He's
yeah, yeah.
such a good artist. I've always liked him from way back.
Yeah, very poetic. And he's got at the same time you can hear he's got that artistry. You know what I mean? There's that artistry to the way that he connects his words as well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? His
definitely,
cadence and
definitely.
whatnot.
And I
Um,
love it's not just the biblical side, which is always it's always interesting to hear, because it's always around you, isn't it, from
yeah,
when you
yeah,
grew
yeah,
up and
yeah.
stuff. But it's also his like historical side as well, the sort of different periods of times it will mention, and
Yeah, man.
things that will make you want to read up about something or be like,
Yeah,
wow, what's that, and go and check it out. So that's what you love about an artist like that.
yeah, definitely, man. I know what you're talking about. That whole the side of things where he'll go to Egypt, or Kemet, and
Yeah,
then be deep somewhere and like talk about Aztec, the Olmecs and
Exactly.
all that stuff is really, I'm finding it really interesting. Like, there's a lot of stuff I wasn't really, into it in the sense of trying
Yeah.
to find out things about what went on then, because I always felt like, how do you know it really is that? Like, there are people studying ancient Egypt, but how do they know what they're studying is real? Like, it might, things might be planted or whatnot. But now
Yeah.
looking into it, it's really interesting, man. There's so many different things that we think we've been taught about in school, but you find out there's a lot more to it. It's a lot deeper
Oh
than you
yeah.
think, and it's also more spread out than just one area as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting stuff. But so
Well,
let's
that's
go.
the thing. Is a civilization couldn't occur in just a city. It's not. It's not a civilization, then, is it? It's a complete way of life. It's a whole. It's a whole zone. It would be an old continent, I guess, isn't it? A civilization. It's a big empire.
Where do you feel like it started? Like, this sort of idea of markets, and before it was,
What trading?
yeah, trading, commerce.
I don't know. I mean, it goes back before money. Before
Of course.
precious things.
Yeah.
It's in human nature, isn't it? It must go back way back. Surely it would be. I've got this. Can I have that?
I mean, because there's bartering and trading and
Yeah.
whatnot before.
But then, even before then, it would be something that was valuable. I remember seeing something in a museum about it, like even fish bones or something like that. Fish bones
There's certain.
would be like an early traded item.
Yeah, shells. There's certain places where it's shells. Like, they'll meet up in certain areas. Say it would be like, sort of Papua New Guinea sort of sides or whatever. And they'd all meet up on a certain island from different islands and whatnot. And then they'll do their trading there. But some of them would trade like shells and, just stuff, fish, things that they found, ornaments or whatever that they might have made, as opposed to using currency, like money.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call
Well, I
it.
guess it's for like once you get over the survival part of life, isn't it, where you're just living to survive. Once you get past that, you get to the luxuries, don't you? Where it's like, okay, I've got control of that now. I'm living all right, and I've got enough food and blah blah blah. Now's the next thing, which is like, a sofa, or not a sofa, but whatever, a hammock. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you go into the things that relax you, isn't it? Because you've kind of leveled up. So I guess it's a natural thing of humanity, isn't it? It's weird with money. You just think, is there a better idea? It's really hard to think of one.
I mean, I think the idea was what it was before, because now it's turned into. Is the mic all right, or is it sounding?
Wiggle the back of it a minute.
Wiggle the back of the mic. Wiggle the back of the mic. Hey, wiggle the back of the. Wiggle the back of the.
Sounds like it's breaking
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Well, I feel like I'm like, yo, this invisible frog in my throat. That's what it sounds like to me, but you can hear me all right though.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out if it's my voice or is it.
No, it's something. The mic sort of sounds like it's breaking up a little bit.
Oh.
You can hear it all right. I checked on the stream. It all sounds fine. It's just a bit croaky sound.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I bet
Shout to the nice one, JM. He says, yo. Who's that? Tef Vision. He says, I feel since 279 left Trace FM, the UK rap went downhill. Oof. Oh. We'll talk about that in a sec. Man. Let's dig into the background though. Emcee Killa. Because the majority of us know you from Caxton Press.
Yeah.
As wow, who's that one? Who's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bruh, I know you got that.
The outsider.
Yeah, because not many people knew you, but you'd already
60 to 1.
You'd already been spitting before you linked up with Caxton Press.
Yeah. I've been doing it from quite an early age, probably from about 13 or something like that. Probably even earlier. Like I've been, all sorts of different, playing instruments when I was younger, and having like teachers at primary school who used to encourage like, live performances and things like that through music.
Using the mirror, rapping to your baby bottle and that.
The coma and everything, But no, it was probably about 13. It's when I started listening to drum and bass and stuff like that. I think that was what gave me the ability to be able to think that that's something I could do, you know, because at that age, well, at that time, it was a difficult avenue, hip hop, to get into, because life was so vastly different from hip hop at the time, and obviously it wasn't as connected. The releases were coming out much later, and it wasn't really, for me at that age anyway, it wasn't something I felt I had the confidence to do, if you know what I mean. I didn't feel I would be good enough. So drum and bass was a kind of a way of, you know, not having the most complex of lyrics, but it being able to say something, you know, get a bit of confidence in doing it. And I think once I got to the point that I started putting in political bars in drum and bass lyrics and things like that, it was then I got to a point that it's like, hold on a minute, you can't really take it much further anymore, because you know, people aren't interested in that. You know, maybe one line here and there, but mainly they just want the you know. So
that's exactly what I was saying. You
just got to be hitting that. But I would try and do little kind of schemes and rhythms and stuff like that. But in the end, it was sort of like, I felt at that point I had the confidence then to sort of move up to doing the music that I've always listened to from an early age through my brother, which was hip hop. You know, that was always the one I wanted to get into. So that was when I had the chance to do that, and started writing some rhymes about 16, 17 years old, recorded them down. And then I think it was just through people's reactions that I started to get more and more into it and more involved with it, because from what I was hearing from other people was, you know, I'm not stupid enough that I could have easily recognized if I felt it wasn't going anywhere at that time. And I would have obviously stopped, you know what I mean? But I felt like the reactions were big enough, you know, and the opportunities I was getting out of, you know, grabbing the mic here and there in different venues was taking me, you know, places here and there quite quickly.
Was you hitting the shout to DNA? Yeah, that came from nowhere, but it doesn't matter, man. We ain't gonna play it yet, man. Alright, just give them a little sample. Sound good, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't find it?
It's old school as well.
That's hilarious. Sorry about that, man. Yo, shout to DNA, man. He's learning as well. We're learning on the spot, man. You know what I mean?
It's all there, though, man. It's all there.
Yeah, it's coming, man. Look at that. We got the bruv.
Man, that is so old. Man. That's 9 years old. That picture. 10 years old.
9 years old.
Who run us through who we can see in the picture?
Yeah.
So at the back you got Big Manage. Probably the founder of the group, I'd say, easily brought everyone together as he always does. Then you got right by his nutsack, you got Amy, and then Amy
True.
Amy True. Sorry, I met her in 2010. We went to EO Dub. Stig at the Dump had won the UK championships, and we went to do the world one in Germany. And on that trip, I met Amy there. I'm not sure management. I met her there as well, and that was the first time we all met each other actually. So you've also got Kingpin on to her. Well, looking at it to the right. Obviously me at the front, and then you got Snuff right DJ close Snuff up on the right hand side there as well. DJ Snuff from Speaker's Corner fame, and you know, everything else that he's done.
Yeah, shout to the End of the Week crew as well, boy.
Yeah,
legendary
man.
moments,
Those are really good times though, you know. It was, if you actually look at how many artists went through EO Dub, like who actually entered into the tournament, it was ridiculous. Like pretty much most of the High Focus roster all went into that competition at really early days from when they were coming around as well.
Wow.
And then there's, I mean, untold amounts after that, ridiculous amounts, but real good thing. I like the setup of it, you know, the 5 rounds, the sort of different tests of skills. But ultimately it's freestyle that wins that tournament. If you can rock the freestyle, then you're good to go.
Yeah, shout to Mass Lawson. Shout out to
Yeah,
G Bag.
big them
Jeez.
boys. Yeah, Apex.
Apex.
Who's
Yeah,
been there
man.
from almost day
Apex is
dot,
sick as well.
maybe even day dot, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, so many good artists went through there, and a lot of really good artists, didn't weren't able to even to get to the finals.
Yeah, for real, that in it, but still smash it outside of that.
Still
You're right.
smash it, obviously, but it just shows you how fierce the competition was at the time, man. It's just a real good time for UK hip hop, I
Shout
think,
to
at that
Menace
time.
Mendoza as well, man. That's
Yeah,
another guy.
his
He's a
freestyles
joker. Yeah,
ridiculous,
yeah, yeah. I saw him
ridiculous.
in Brixton, man. Definitely very impressive, man.
Yeah, yeah, and DK, Tenchu,
Yeah,
and they're kind of
Tenchu.
more recent.
Tenchu's a sick freestyler, man.
Yeah,
Jeez, he's another one, boy. Killer.
yeah, yeah.
It's like,
I
yeah, he's one of them guys where he's just like, how the hell are you thinking that quick, man? Like, how, to be that on point with it. Like, it sounds like it's
Yeah, yeah,
written crazy, bro. But he's making it up on the spot. It's like, yeah, that's sick.
yeah. And
Sick,
it's the
man. It's
it's
so
the choice of
impressive.
words, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's what when you hear a
Exactly.
freestyler, you're like, those are those common words. There's the common words,
Common
the
where
ones that get you
everyone will,
through
yeah,
through the day.
yeah,
But then there's the guys that are like, right, like G Bag's another guy like that. When
yeah,
I hear him,
G-Bag, yeah,
I'm like,
man.
whoa,
Yeah.
I'm not expecting any of this coming
Yeah,
after.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, for
know,
real.
it's like because you try to sort of think ahead, don't you? When people are saying, he's gonna rhyme this with this, of course, come on,
And comes
he's
out with something
putting the
totally
money on the
different.
bookies, and then boom, comes out with something else.
Yeah, it's
So
mad impressive,
always
man.
always a sign of a good freestyler, I think.
Yeah, for real. Yo, shout out to the crew in the yeah. That does sound like I think the mic I might have
Yeah,
bugged
it's
up the
got a
mic.
bit of rattle on it.
Yeah, did it? Right, did I broke the mic? Jesus, man. Huh? I broke it. All right, yeah. All right, hold on a minute. One sec. Yo, 1, 2. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Am I back? Yeah. I can't hear
You're
myself,
back.
but yeah,
No
you can hear me all
crackles.
right. No
Yeah.
crackles, no snap crackle. Yeah, there you go. Hey.
I was going to ask you, that first video you played on this live stream, yeah?
Mm,
And there's you rapping in like, I don't know, in town somewhere, looks like Covent Garden or something, and there's a guy with a ginger cat.
yeah.
Is
What's
that the guy with the ginger cat from the fucking film that was made about him?
Yeah, there's quite a few people who keep saying that. I haven't seen the film, but yeah, it's the guy. And
Damn,
you know
man.
the funny
That's so
story about
random.
that, bruv.
What?
You know why? The
What?
reason why I was saying that to my man is because because I think that was like we done 2 takes, yeah, and then we did 1 take, and there was like a crowd gathering, and I didn't even know he
Yeah.
was there. I didn't see him, yeah, but then the crowd gathering, and then we stopped and we started talking. I did it with shout to Ian Gamestar. He did the video for that, and
Mm-mm.
like it was his idea that we do the whole, live performance thing. To be honest, if I'm honest, I was shitting myself, but I just thought, all right, just perform. You know what I mean? Just do it. So he masterminded that, and I rate him highly. But so
Yeah.
he was chatting to him, and then we was going, okay, we'll do it one more time. And then the guy with the ginger cat, my man was like, he's like, oh, this is my spot. You can't do this here.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's what.
He's
Yeah,
getting
so where
territorial,
everyone
yeah?
was loving him and that, he was like, "Right, man was a bastard." Like, yeah, I goes, bruv, I'm not here. I'm not trying to get any money. I'm just gonna perform the track and then bounce. Yeah, and so he was like, "Yeah, but you can't do this here because this is." And I was like, "No, no, no. You don't get what I'm saying. I'm not. I don't want any money. Furthermore, I'll get them to give you the money." So that's why we're in the video when you're saying, "Oh, if you got any change, give it to the ginger cat." Yeah, I was
Give it
meaning,
to him, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
Around my way, bruv. You know, that's
Well,
like
my views of him have gone right downhill now. Not
he's
into no
abusive.
aggressive man getting all the film money.
What? You know what I mean? The moment it's like, bruv, look how much attention you're getting now. Like, I just
Mm.
picked up your cat, you moody ass. Anyway, I don't blame you.
So random.
Yeah, it's mad. Shout out to Gleam in the house. Shout out to Anthony Turner. He says, "Oi, Choice FM, you know, big things." He asked a question about low life. We'll try and get into that maybe a bit later, but I did answer that more or less on the first stream, so you can watch that one and in all its glory, all of its fuck ups and echoes and delays and shit. Because we're working this out, you know what I mean? We're working this out, brother lovers. Big up to Craig RS. He says, big up Caxton Press, Emcee, Kills. He said Killa and Kingpin, both massive talents. Easy
Respect,
Twizzy.
brother.
Shout to Twizzy in the building. He's got the fire emojis. And once again, shout to Gleam. Another freestyler. Gleam's another 6 freestyler, by the way.
Yeah,
Portsmouth.
I
Yeah,
haven't heard
Portsmouth
him,
in the
but
house.
I'd like to.
He said that he nearly beat Tenchu in a live battle. And then he put...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said nearly. He said nearly as if. All right, yeah. Because even the way Killa was like, oh, okay. It was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like then you must be good if it's close.
Yeah, for real. So
No,
yeah, man.
'cause-
Caxton Press. Who you saying that Manage was the one who kind of brought it together? How did it come about then? Was it on the way to this event?
No,
Was
it was before the event. Like basically, he got me and Kingpin together. That was the original group. It wasn't called Caxton Press at that time, and we made a few tracks. Made about 3 or 4 tracks that are actually on the album as well. And we were out performing those and stuff. Snuff got us a few shows at the time, so we were doing that, and that's what we took out to EO Dub in Germany. Is that kind of live show as well. So we performed out there, and that's when we met Amy. And what was missing from us 3 at the time was obviously a vocalist, and not just a vocalist, but someone like Amy, really, in terms of, you know, how she comes on the track and everything like that. And you know, she also can spit as well, so it was perfect, really. Just you know, it just completed the dynamic.
Yeah, because I remember you lot came out and it was like the videos just banged. It was like, oh shit! It felt like you lot had already been doing this and been out for a minute. The way everything dropped is heavy, man.
And that's Global Faction, man.
Yeah.
You have to
for
thank
real.
for that, because I think it's also like it's obviously things are so different now, but videos at those times. This was just at the point where if you wanted a video done, it was costing you $1,000, $2,000 maybe. I think it was just unheard of most of the time for people to have a really, really decent video that was affordable. And for in my circle, maybe people have got other stories around that time. The quality of video you were getting for the price that we were was unheard of, and he was able to bring that, and he had a back catalogue of working with Low Key and Logic, etc. So we could see that he was really decent, and obviously did it to us at something we could afford, basically. And the ideas that he had, you know, we went to some mad places at mad times in the morning to film things, and because we had such a buzz at the time, I mean, people were feeling things, but I mean, amongst ourselves, we felt really positive about things. It was just a really exciting time, you know. I couldn't bear thinking about leaving my house at 3 a.m. to go to a abandoned warehouse in, you know, Docklands or whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but then no worries, man.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game now, but
Yeah, I mean, I just ain't got the knees for it, you know.
Man said he ain't got the knees for it.
Nah, but yeah, it was a real exciting time at that point.
Yeah, and then you had quite a run as well. Like,
yeah,
it
was quite short-lived. If I look back at it, it was really short-lived, and that's probably the disappointing thing about it. But I think because it was like almost an everyday thing, it was like gigs or rehearsals or just meeting up in general or going to this night or that night. It was almost a daily thing. So when you get so engrossed in something like that, even for a period of 2 years, 3 years, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it can take it out of you as well, a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Let's hear a bit of this, man. Let's hear some of this. Caxton Press.
Yeah.
I'm running to escape the madness, running through the pain like
Kingpin.
I'm Paula Radcliffe,
Hey.
running from the tax man,
Yeah.
running from the cops. Yeah, I'm going nowhere like I'm
That was
running on
live
the
in,
spot, but I can't
Kent.
stop. I can't escape. You see,
what,
I'm
Hip Hop
being
Camp?
caught up by my
Yeah, no,
past
it was in
mistakes.
Tonbridge
as
Certain
well,
things
in
in my
Kent.
life that I can't erase, but I'ma kick the ground
our
while living
journey
this
all the way up to
marketplace.
it.
And on my darkest days, I pursue my course. The bet against
that's
me
it.
betting on the losing horse. I'm
Yeah,
a
we were
proven
doing like,
source,
we were
shine
getting
bright like the human
stage
torch,
dives and
deliver
stuff like
words
that.
food
Oh,
for
for real?
thought. Check the news
Yeah.
report. It's the Caxton press. Shit'll bang so hard it'll crack your head. And I plan to command respect. See, we won't stop running till I'm touched by the hands of death. Yo, I need to get away and find a better day to
Manage.
capture the focus I lost. 'Cause I
Yeah.
let it stray. I set it straight.
What is it? He drew something in the cab on the car window. Can't remember what it was.
Wow, man. Who was on the production?
So the bit of a sad story is a guy called Profound, not Champions of Nature. Profound. It's a really young producer. So I think at the, at the time that came out, this guy was 17 or 18 years old, and we never actually met him. He managed communicated with him mostly, and this was his beat. But from what we know, I think about a year ago, apparently he passed away. So
Oh, see.
R.I.P. to Profound. So
Wow.
I think majority of the tracks on the album are from by Profound. But yeah, we got very little information about it because he was just a very sort of quiet guy, to be honest.
Wow, that's
You
sad
know,
to hear, man.
just you didn't see him all up in the place, you know, shouting about his successes or anything like that. He was very, very quiet and just passed away. So rest in peace to him, but thank you for all of his great beats that he sent us and the tunes that we made out of it as well.
Yo, 1, 2. Yeah. There we go. Rest in peace. 1,
Yeah.
2. Yeah. You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Yeah, man. Boy, yeah, that hit me there, man. He's talking about. It's sad,
Yeah.
man.
It's
When-
tricky because
yeah,
we didn't even have anyone in his family to contact or anything. I mean, it's just random events of life, you know.
So was he? You saying he was on majority of the production? Was who
Yeah.
else? Who else was on there?
So you had Think, who's done my. He was the producer for my recent album. He's got one track on there.
Foreign Ties.
Yeah, that's the Foreign Ties album. Yeah, he produced one track on there. A guy called Fundament was on there as well. And I think that's it. Everything else was Profound, from what I can remember, and I apologize if I'm missing someone. But yeah, he did the most of it. So The Press, which was the first track we did, that was him. Broken Dreams was him. Running was him. And then the solo stuff, yeah. I think there was another, Kingpin had a solo joint on there, which was, I can't remember the producer's name. But apart from that, everything else was Profound, yeah.
So
Genius.
What was the like? Take us into the sort of structure of you lot building material. Then, how did it work? Was it like you'd get the beats in where you all in the studio together, or would you be writing separately and then come together? This is what I've got, or how was it?
Yeah, because
Well,
it's a big group, ain't it? So really.
Exactly.
And it's
And-
not just
and-
that. You've got like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, pretty big characters and stuff in there. So
Yeah.
who takes the lead? How does that get decided? Choruses, anything like that? What's the process?
I think at the beginning it was Manish took the lead. So he would come with the beat, and again, different times. So WhatsApp wasn't really the thing at the time. So he'd probably email something out, and then everyone would listen to it and then, decide, whether they liked it or not. And then if everyone agreed on it, we'd then write our bars, and we'd all try and get to the studio together. And then sometimes it wouldn't work out that way. People wouldn't turn up, or, things had happened. They couldn't make it. But ideally, we'd all try and be in there together, all have our verses ready. And then the hook would usually get made in the studio there and then with all 4 of us together.
Oh, wicked.
So somebody might spark the idea and say, you know, because you listen to the rhythm and say, oh, it needs to sound a bit like, and then someone say, oh, what, like this, and they'd put the words in, and then we'd be formulating a kind of rap thing, and then Amy would come in with some different vocal hook, and you'd be like, fuck it, yeah, we'll take that, and you know. So in that respect, it was very, very harmonious, like the way that we did that. And I have to give us credit on that. In terms of our professionalism for like live gigs and being in the studio and coming out with tracks and appreciating who we had around us, yeah, it was a really, really good vibe in that respect. I think once everything got comfortable, sometimes some people would want to take their own lead, or you know, perhaps they'd want to come with a completely different idea to what everyone was on or whatever, and then that's where sometimes it can go wrong.
Like, so how would you work out who's gonna go first, second, third? Like, would you cipher the verses and then
Yeah, so you'd listen to the verses first, and then everyone would probably vote and probably say, you know what, you go first. And then there was sometimes that the verses got changed up, so like you'd record it in a certain way and then it got rearranged, but very rarely. Most of the time we just listen to each other's stuff in the studio and then do it that way. Maybe there was an odd occasion where somebody wouldn't turn up to the studio and we'd lace our stuff and they'd come back again later and do theirs, and then, you know, that would sometimes happen. But yeah, mostly we'd want to get everyone in there together.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect energy. That's how it should be. Do you know what I mean? Even down to like the beat being made with everyone there. If it could, obviously it's a different story for all of us, but I think like that's what you did. What you did there, it shined through. You could tell that this is a collaborative effect. It weren't just like people working via email or like mad separately and this just kind of bunging it together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I rate that heavily, man.
It's important, and I think that's you've got to understand the power of teamwork in them kind of situations. When people go in so individual into groups of people, and you know, put boundaries up to stop everyone working together for their own sort of whatever they want to do, how they look to other people, or whatever trying to image they're trying to portray. That's what ruins it, man. It's like the power of teamwork. You know, when we supported Public Enemy, he couldn't stop telling us how much he loved groups. He was just like, I love groups because he knows that they work.
Chuck D?
They work. Yeah, Chuck D was saying that. And he's just like, he knows that they work, you know, and it's obviously we're all our own individual solo artists in our own rights as well.
He didn't say he hates solo artists though.
He didn't say he hates solo artists, but he said the concept of groups has been lost over time, where he said that he was just, that's, you know, true. He's like, I love the fuck out of groups. I fucking love groups. He's just going on about it for ages, you know. And
Chuck D was your groupie. He was your groupie.
Yeah, bruv. He was asking. I came off stage. And he was asking me to sign our CD for him.
Oh, wicked, is it?
And I was just like, fuck off, you know what I mean? Especially as we just come off stage, and I'm like, nah, don't, you know.
I bet he just turned around and walked away.
Oh. Yeah, it's just like, it doesn't work like that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you must
it should be, you know,
I
need your
autograph,
you know.
He's no longer, yeah.
Groups
now, man.
But no, we was like, I remember Amy battered them at Tekken, man. We was playing that when we were doing rehearsals before the show began. She smashed all of them at Tekken.
Oh, for real?
She was just like one by one every time they were coming on, just bop, move, every single one. Because you know, in Coco, they've got a Tekken thing in there, you know, in the like chill out, you know, the artist bit around the back.
So you could play.
They got like a Tekken thing, PlayStation, yeah.
Jeez, man, that's hilarious, man.
She smashed him.
So in the end, it turned out to be one album, was it? One album with Caxton Press.
One album and one single.
One album and one single.
One single afterwards, which was this track called Hunger, and it had another track on the flip side called This Ain't Living, which was we released that on a 12-inch single, and did a video for it. We had a second album ready to go, but it didn't come out in the end.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I mean, we had 17 tracks or something like that.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
17
Some
tracks,
big
man.
tracks, yeah. Like we did a couple with Strange Neighbor, quite a few with Zeph, yeah. Who else
Strange
did we have on there? I know Evil Ed did a remix for one of our tracks as well. This is why this track here. This is Kizzy with Omar.
Oh, for real? Yeah, that's true.
Got any food? Food? Yeah, food. Yeah, I could get you some food.
See, Kizzy's acting, man. Come on.
I'll help you out, man. For real.
Shout to Kissy K, boy.
Boy,
What's him,
that
man?
acting, man.
He should be in Top Boy or something, boy. Where
He
he's
should
going
be,
on?
shouldn't he? Look at him. So they're like, this is where he's asking for food and we're taking him in to get educated now.
Give you some real food.
This is a real food, yeah.
Food for thought.
But the shots in this first verse, I just think are the gulliest, man. I love them.
Now I see through the lies that they're feeding you. I keep it underground, despise the mass media.
This one here.
I don't believe in the
Apex.
manifestos. Globalization is being brought to you by Tesco's. Do what he says so. Yo, or you'll get sliced up and
Mike
laid down
Assassin.
flat just like French toast.
Mike
That's how the
Assassin,
feds
bro.
roll. So you got a problem with the system? I suggest you keep your head low.
that Arcane?
They got a shed load of WMDs.
Think it might be, yeah.
MPs been cunning for centuries, running on empty. The price of fuel got me
bro.
evading all the fascists with right-wing views in light and youth.
And this
I got
place
the
was
message
like
of
a
a
derelict
telltale.
building, man,
So
and
feel
they
my
had
words like the blind feel the
needles
brown
everywhere.
letter.
It's like a
Can you
proper
relate, fella?
junkie's
To this
paradise.
estate when I live it in the land that I only wanna make
Depth.
better. They chase cheddar like a lab rat and claim that they save lives when they drop bombs on Baghdad. I don't understand that. Nah, but I spit on your damn tracks like a lethal dose of anthrax. I can't
there,
stand
yeah.
back, I stand up and keep shouting like a warrior standing up on the steep mountain.
He's on the beat.
I keep shouting until I'm public enemy like Martin Luther King, Malcolm
Profile.
X and JF Kennedy. Why's it gotta be like this? Why
This is
do
one
I
of the
feel
first
like
tracks we
this? 'Cause
recorded
it's
as
the
a
real
group.
life
This was,
is, yo, why?
like I said
Why's it
before,
gotta be like
Amy was
this?
with us at
Bring
this
the
time when we
freedom.
recorded the video, but the track was recorded prior to her.
Why you wanna see my
joining.
demise? Got the fire in my rhymes. Lift me
Yeah, that's
higher than the
grimy,
skies,
boy.
yo, why? Why's it gotta be
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't done very many videos at this point. That's why I looked so awkward, I think, on the camera, bro.
Gotta start somewhere, man.
You gotta start somewhere, mate. Yeah, exactly.
And I strike like a hot iron. So stop lying, thinking you a top giant. Well, I'm Jack back to rob up your rock diamonds in a crossfire, a hot wire, a cop's ride. A lost squire who knots ties and pops tires. I squash pirates and sell the sea 7 times. And still see hell as an abstract of heaven's mind. Through these better times, I still seem to spray shit. Aerosol style mics leave you with a sprained wrist. A fake twist of emotions. Don't sail ships in oceans. A bone trail of the witch's potion. A slow snail with a vivid motion who won't fail. So I propel with my spinning rotors. A bit of culture is tasted by timid vultures. I'm living closer to sniping these wicked poachers. A different motive, you're hopeless, repulsive. Can't see past cause your brain isn't molded. So I spit with an open plan and witness more shit than a Jehovah man. With loads of scams still coming out your sleeve. My temper's short, so don't ever shout at me. I'm proud to be the man with 1,000 speech types. Pick the mic up and I'll shine like street lights, burn like weed pipes, or rubber on a speed bike. Either way, mate, I still heat up your peace sign. Why's it gotta be like this?
I had a little bit more hair then as well.
Killer, boy. Smashed it. That was sick, man. So that was one of the
Yeah,
first
man.
tracks as well.
First tracks we recorded, I think it was this and another one called Just Won't Stop or Just Don't Stop. Those are the very, very first 2 that we recorded. It was me, King and Manage. And then we were playing those out live for a little bit. And then most of the other tracks after that are with Amy.
Yeah.
Although she's only on about 4, I think. Four tracks on the album, 4 or 5.
What about the new one? or the one you recorded after?
The one that never came out.
Yeah.
She was on most of them. Yeah. Because I think we made a sort of, we said to each other, look, we need to have it solidly for all the tracks. It can't be too wishy-washy, especially for live shows. It'll be like at the beginning she was like, oh, am I on for this one or am I off for this one, you know?
Yeah.
And she didn't want to be like a spare part on the stage, which is understandable, you know. So it was like we needed to get more material where it was all of us together rather than her just popping in at times or doing a solo thing. You know, we wanted to, just to make it so it's always us on stage together. But then Kingpin left around that time as well. So I think out of that new album, there was a few tracks that he was on, which I think probably got taken off of him, and you know, but they never came out anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you sound like that album's not going to come out, basically.
I don't think so.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if those verses have been used elsewhere and things like that, you know.
Okay.
Because it was such a large body of work, you know. So.
That's a shame, man. That's a shame.
It's a shame.
For real.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe one day, but.
I mean, as you're saying, though, you know, we're all solo artists in certain aspects, and of course, you are still doing it solo regardless. You've been working with Manage on the what's it called, Lab 79.
Lab 79, yeah.
79 project. That's been pretty nuts as well. There's been some crazy
good.
tunes come out of that.
Really good. Got a lot of good feedback from that.
What's the idea behind that? Can you break that down for?
Well, I think it's again it's a managed venture. You know, he's another one. He's decided to bring this all together, and he's brought in Skirmish, Rain. You know, Skirmish from Rhyme Asylum, Rain, who was obviously rolling with them a lot. Did really well in like things like the jump off, street battles and things like that back in the day. Conflicts, who was in Chain of Command. Then you've got like Jack Diggs, who's doing a lot of the video work, but obviously he's a really good producer as well as a good rhymer as well. And I guess, I don't know what the idea behind the name is, but I guess it's just, you know, a name that's been brought about, but it's just got, you know, what I'm hearing from all the releases is there is this kind of horror movie vibe to it, you know, very sort of, you know, calming yet sort of frightening sound to it on each of the tracks, and I like it in that respect, that it's carrying a sort of certain theme, and I do like that, and the artwork that Jack's done for the releases as well have all been in that theme as well. So I'm really into that, you know, where things are kind of themed with each other, and you can kind of get batches of releases that they're almost like collectible things, aren't they? When you see all these different designs, but they're all kind of the same at the same time. So
I think it's beautiful. Like there's something beautiful about it, that as well, the fact that he's just putting these tracks together and putting them out. There's nothing. That's why I had to ask, what's the, you know, what is it? Because there's no, you know, there's no story behind like, this from the upcoming blah, 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 or anything like that. EP. It's just like, here's a track, bars, chorus, sick video, you know, everything's banging. Just take this, just get, and it's working, man. Like I really think it's working. Like there's people talking.
Definitely, and I think it's a little bit of not moving with the times, but it is a bit like that where
it is.
I think anticipation of releases, and I'm not. This is not a blanket comment that I'm making, but certainly amongst the liquid flow of music at the moment is that you can't say I'm releasing something in 3 months and everyone's going to sit there waiting for it. You know what I mean? Like with their calendar saying, oh, look, it's day 29 and it's day 31. And it doesn't work like that anymore. And things are so much more readily available that whole, you know, like when we were younger, the albums coming over from America, you know, were a year late and few and far between kind of thing. It's not like that anymore. There's not that much big anticipation. So I guess it's kind of moving with that times a little bit, where you can just sort of, you know, push out a single, promote that for a bit, and then you wait a month and you put another one out. And I think you're continuously giving something, and then at the end of that, you're able to maybe form a release out of that if you want, so that people have it as a collection, or you kind of pause that kind of sound that you were doing at that time, and you move on to another sound. I know there's a single with Apex Zero coming out really soon, and that's sounding really, really nice, man. And it is a little bit different from what everyone's been hearing. So,
wicked.
you know, maybe it is moving into a different phase now. I think there's been a break from that last batch of work that we've done, and the next one will come.
Yeah. And so you've also got the Foreign Ties LP.
Yeah. So this was another one where I feel maybe I haven't pushed it as much as I could have done. Definitely didn't have much anticipation to it in terms of the countdown kind of side of things. I just sort of got it out there. But at the same time, a lot of the tracks that were on there, I'd worked with Think On previously and had never sort of seen, it's not like seen the light of day, but we'd never decided what to do with them. And we kind of used that as a foundation for the album, and then built on more tracks afterwards. And I think it got to a point where we were just so desperate just to get it out there, so me and him could perhaps just start again and work on something new. So we put a lot of effort into the album, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't, I haven't pushed it as much as I probably could have done.
Yeah, I hear that. So what, how did that come together? Because it's you and what's his name?
It's Think from Canada.
Oh, I keep on wanting to say Think Done. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Think from Canada.
Yeah.
How'd that come about?
It's just Think, but he's based from Canada basically. So we were working with him in Caxton Press. I've done. He also worked with Rhyme Asylum back in the day, and we'd had these few tracks that we built up together because I'd been talking with him, and we basically decided to do it, and it just went from there. He sent the beats out to me. I started writing to him, and we built it up more and more.
See.
But he did all the mixing for it. We got it mastered eventually, but everything we did it on, a fairly tight budget, to be honest, in terms of the promo. But it's difficult now. It's very, very difficult with promo.
In what way?
I think you're fighting these fucking algorithms all the time, or that's what everyone says.
Algorithms, you have to fight the algorithms.
There is a barrier, isn't there? There's obviously the leg up. You don't get that until you've either paid them 10 grand or you've literally got a mad viral following, which I don't have. So
you're or you've got to
bit.
beg the shit out of people to press play, innit? That's what you got to do, is beg the shit
I know
out of people.
And do you want to be do you want to be that guy? It's a tough one. It's also having all the time to collect all your contacts again, isn't it? I think, because my previous release was like 2015, so most of the people I was pushing to back then, they're probably not even around anymore, or people have moved on elsewhere and stuff like that, so you're kind of having to rebuild that all up, and it's very time consuming, and as we all have limited time to do things sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think the release suffered as a result of that, but I also think maybe down the line people will start to listen to it and pick up on it, and it doesn't have to be instantly, which is what people want all the time. Sometimes it takes a year or two for things to manifest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There doesn't seem to be many sort of industry help. Much in many people in the industry helping at this sort of level of UK.
No.
We talked about this before.
There
it's
was,
like,
but
there was, but it's I think also with the sort of the ability for everybody to put their stuff out now.
Yeah.
It's not that it waters the quality down, but everybody who was recording at home anyway before is now just putting stuff out on their own.
Yeah.
So it does. you know, I'm not saying there's loads of bad quality stuff out there, but it does sort of water down people's ability to be able to access.
But there is loads of bad quality
There's a
stuff
lot
out there.
to-
There is
Right.
loads of bad
You
quality
can
stuff
say
out
it.
there.
You can say it. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm just
But
There's
it's
a lot.
true.
not saying.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
I'm saying it without saying it.
What you're saying
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that now that it makes the waters murkier, like now you can't get to the treasure as easy as you could before.
But they was always there. They're just now they've got the ability to go out alongside you.
Yeah.
And, you know.
But
Yeah,
from
I mean-
if you was working on a big label in the marketing department, that wouldn't be where you're looking. You know, that it's not an attractive prospect, that saturation, you know. And obviously the good talent can't be weeded out of that in that respect, because
Brother.
it's just too much of a fucking pull.
I remember
Yeah.
going to like we went with Brain Tax. We went to Westwood. Yeah, you know, like we got the last 10 minutes. Remember, UK hip hop, it only used to get the last 10 minutes of Westwood.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we were
yeah,
up
yeah.
there promoting. I think it was for the Biofunk LP, and my man, like he was because he had us there for like a good 45 minutes, just like asking about the scene, about the UK hip hop scene, because you know I kind of got the gist that he didn't really know it well enough, so he was wondering, because obviously Low Life has got a name or whatever. He was kind of just, you know, prodding at like, oh, who should I be looking for type thing. But then he was saying, he was like, you know, he pulled out this big drawer of bare CDs, just all these CDs that have been burnt, and he was like, look, I get all this stuff, you know, like through the whole thing, the whole 45 minutes, hour or whatever he was talking about, like, you know, he's not sure what he should be. He was saying that in a roundabout way, what he should be looking for when it comes to the UK hip hop scene. Obviously, he knows the American stuff, but in the UK, and then he pulled out this drawer, all these CDs, and he was like, you know, I don't know who I should be playing or who I shouldn't. That's why sometimes you'd hear.
Did you see anyone you recognised in the drawer?
I didn't even bother looking, to be honest.
I bet it was like 10,
yeah, because
10
I was worried.
MyStiggi
I was
CDs.
worried that I would. Yeah, I was worried that I
Find
would.
your own name.
Yeah, Bruv, one time he played a remix of my tune that I never heard before. And that was,
shit.
yeah, it was because someone had sent in a CD and gone, yeah, the remix of, I think it was Open Mic. And the shit was off beat. It wasn't even on the right beat. Yeah. And we were driving. I remember we was in West End. I was with Jargon and someone else driving. And it's like, rah, what the fuck? Like, what's this? And I was like, rah. So, you know, like the level of, like anyone can do it now, that kind of started back then when people could press their own little CDs and like, yeah.
Well, MySpace. Yeah. You know, MySpace was that kind of.
That was the death of it all, really. MySpace.
It was,
That's
yeah.
when it started.
Yeah.
Because you had to start. You had to start naming what you was, and when you have to start deciding what you are over what your fans decide. So
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? You have to give yourself 3 definite labels to put yourself under, and that's the sort of stuff that the industry. That's how you know it's sort of industry based, because they want to pigeonhole everyone into little tiny, you know, brackets. And
Not just that, but it's also like everyone was. You looked on someone's page, you'll be like, he's had 5,000 views, dead. You know what I mean? He's not good enough. You know, I'm not even going to listen to him because he's had 5,000 views. If you go on someone's page and they're like, he's on 35,000 views, like, right, this guy's a bit more serious than he must be. But you're judging it all by numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is, like you're saying, that's exactly a fucking industry thing. That is exactly an industry thing, because that's what they base it on. Who's popular?
Exactly.
Industrial ways, boy.
Who's got the views? You know, not what's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when the whole jerk came in it. It was like YouTube, you could jerk the views somehow. There was little apps you could get that would make your views go quick.
Yeah.
And then they
the
switched
guy
that
who's
all
got
up.
a million comment.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the comments
yeah,
like selling, you know, Dogecoin or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like
Dogecoin,
doesn't make sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in it, and that's the industrial way. You just make it look like, you know, we don't know about. People would pay to support a big artist, you know, because they're in that way they're promoting themselves. a lot of UK
Yeah.
hip hop cats wouldn't even bother. They'll be like, "Well, fuck that, man. I'm paying to perform. What are you talking about?" But that's when it comes to that industrial way of life, that's what I like to
Yeah.
call it, industrial
Yeah.
way of life, a way of
Well, why is
thinking.
everything a Carling Academy now, isn't it? Or O2 Academy or blah, 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 you know.
Yeah.
It's the death of the nightclub, isn't it? And into the corporate hands of music events.
Yeah, and that's going to get worse now as well after all this bullshit.
Of course it is.
Just gonna,
And even
less
even
venues.
Spotify, you know, and things like that. It's Bandcamp has suffered as a result of digital music in a way, because why would you buy someone's digital music from Bandcamp when you can listen to it on iTunes or Spotify? You're not going to do it, are you?
Stream it, yeah.
You know, so there is areas for physical product there, but really it's killed all your downloading for digital stuff. So many markets have been dead from digital streaming now.
Isn't it crazy that digital? Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, you carry on.
It's just like we're walking into this thing. Like, I feel the same way about Bitcoin. I was just talking about that the other day. Like, I feel like Bitcoin is basically like a Trojan horse into cashless society. And like, but you know, there's people that I know well that are like proper hype about, oh yeah, I invested in Bitcoin, I made some in Bitcoin, and you're like, right, but bruv, you realize that you're probably against all of this. If everything, hopefully it doesn't all shift that way, but if it does, it's like, right, we're just stepping into it willy-nilly without realizing.
But that's where I see it. It feels to me like a pyramid scheme, because if it's such a good hustle, why are you talking about it? Why are you telling everyone about it? If I knew there was a tree that grew money on it, do you think I'd fucking tell people? Do you know what I mean? It's like, why are you telling me? It's like, bro, you're getting really aggressive about it now. It's like fucking capital letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Buy this. You don't fucking buy
it. You don't
it.
understand it.
You're gonna be broke. You know, so it's just like, well, okay, all right. But to me, it just feels like a pyramid scheme, because they're obviously, the more you encourage people to invest in Bitcoin, the more who were the earlier investors get out of it.
So everyone's pushing their way to kind of get you.
It must be something like that. I mean, someone said to me that with Bitcoin, I don't know if it's Bitcoin or another one, but Bitcoin, it's infinite mining. Either that or it's they don't print any more than there is with Bitcoin. But with the other ones, it's like unlimited printing, you know, like the Bank of England or something like that.
Oh, what? So with Bitcoin, is it?
I think Bitcoin might be not limited, so it might be limited. So there's only a certain amount. But with the other ones that are coming through, the other cryptocurrencies, they're unlimited, or it's vice versa. I can't remember what it is.
Just like money, then.
Yeah.
Just money.
But
you
forever printable, so you can always stabilize the economy just by putting more in, I guess.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, and the other weird thing about the crypto thing, I guess it's on the same wave, is the fact that it's on your phone or whatever, innit? It's an app.
Yeah.
It's not really anything tangible. Like, even though money isn't, money's like fiat currency or whatever, at least, you can see it and feel it, but with,
it's also like you can turn that tap off, can't you? That's why I don't trust these things when they're just in computers.
If they turn the connection off, that's it. Like, where's your PZ? How are you gonna get your little baked beans and sausages?
And let alone if a power station or that all goes to shit as well. You've got nothing there, have you?
No.
Like, you've got nothing at all. So that's the scary part of it.
We should just use carrots for money.
Yeah,
you can just grow some of your own carrots.
Although you couldn't, you wouldn't be a saver with them things, would you? You just have a load of rotten ones.
Yeah. Just use carrots for money.
Yeah.
Let's give a shout out to the chat room. Chris Lehat, salute.
Oh yes, Chris.
Yes, he's locked in. Shout out to Black Einstein in the building.
Chris Lehat puts a lot of guitar down on the Lab 79 tracks.
Oh, for real?
Come out.
Sick.
Chris, feel free to tell him which ones that you're on.
Yeah, let us know, Chris, man.
He represents Plymouth Town. Plymouth. I don't know if it's town or city, but he represents Plymouth.
Plymouth City, yeah. Shouts
So yeah, big
out.
up Chris, man. Hope you're well, and thanks for all your good work.
Yeah, man. Big up, Chris. Shout out to Anthony Turner. He says, shout to the Lab 33. Oh, L33 and Empathy, the paper bag man. Look him up. I don't know who that is, but it sounds interesting. Yeah,
plug in.
more. Shout to Yeah More. Hope I'm saying that right. And shout to Mr. Green. Yeah, more. Yeah, more. Is it like that? Yeah, more.
You more?
See, Mr. Green agrees. It's because they need investment. That's why people are hustling, trying to get. Yeah, everyone I know that's on the Bitcoin thing, they're like, yeah, bruv, the Bitcoin. Oh, you know what you should invest in? You should invest in the so-and-so one. They're always like, yeah. And then every time you chat to them, it's the same, yo, bruv, don't forget, man, you should invest in Dogecoin or,
Exactly.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin? No, I don't know
Bitcoin,
Bitcoin. You know, the Bitcoin, the muslots, man. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker.
But it's just, yeah, for me, I don't know, man. If it was that good, people would be talking about it.
Have you got a little, you got a little
got a
shekels
little
in?
stash of Bitcoin anywhere or not? No.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Never. No. I'm not smart enough for that kind of shit, you know. I wish I was around the time when Apple went for shares.
Yeah.
Because apparently they went for dirt cheap, and
Oh, is it?
when they finally sold it, yeah, people got rich off of that, you know. That's the smart guys, the ones who go in dead early. But now it's too late for these things. I heard it was at 40,000 the other day or something like that.
Yeah, but it all
share.
China has banned any Bitcoin in China. Like literally all the companies have been banned from using it, and nobody's allowed to trade Bitcoin within China. So it dropped down to 24,000 the other day. From
But
40,000.
is that for one Bitcoin?
It went from 40,000 to 24,000. It's gone up a bit again now.
So if I wanted to buy one digital song for 99p, how would I pay for that in Bitcoin?
You pay with bits of Bitcoin, tiny.
What? So like a 0.11.
Yeah, point naught
Bit of
naught point
Bitcoin.
naught 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 one or something.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
What with your
That
phone?
shows you how
yeah.
powerful it is, man.
Or you could convert it into a different coin, and then a smaller value of coin, and then you could just trade with that instead. I can see what people think they're doing is they're decentralizing money, but most people I speak to about it, they seem to be on this thing that like they're going to build up a load of money, Bitcoin money, and then they're going to cash out and just go and live on their own. Well, it's like you said earlier on, Killa. It's a pyramid scheme.
Exactly.
Those people are going to draw their money out and then leave a few suckers behind.
You'll be going, yeah,
Totally.
man. Now I'm investing. You're gonna be there like in
I've got
10
all
years
the
time.
Bitcoin. I've got it all now.
Yeah.
It's not worth anything.
But by the time they all
need a
leave,
charger.
it's going to crash because that'll be most of the investment, you know.
Yeah.
Well, this is the other thing. Is like they're even talking about there possibly being some kind of cyber attack, some kind of, it's like, right, they're setting it all up, and you lot still like, no, man.
We should have someone on, and we should have someone on and talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And
That's
just
a good
fire
idea.
all these questions at them.
Get someone really enthusiastic about it, you know.
who's-
'cause I say
who-
there's so
who
many of the
isn't?
bastards at the moment. They're
They're
fucking
all-
everywhere.
Yeah, they're all enthusiastic about it. So if you're out there and you're enthusiastic and you don't mind a couple of idiots listening to you talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah, because I ain't got a clue about Bitcoin,
No.
to be honest.
I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But have you met anyone who's rich that talks about it?
I have actually. I've met. Well, they said they were, and my friend knew them well, and he said, yeah, he's done really well off Bitcoin.
Really?
This was maybe about like 8 years ago or something like that. It was a
Right,
while
but then
ago.
he would have been smart and done it at the right time.
Yeah, you're right actually,
Because I heard 50 Cent was like got mega rich off of it.
so when they're
Like, as
getting
in
mega rich,
10 millions to billions or something like that. That's what I heard the other day.
like they're investing and then stocks going up and then they're cashing out. That's like
Yeah,
making, it's not like
basically.
they've made, because a lot of people say they've made I've already made a whole lot in my Bitcoin, and you're like, oh right, so what, have you cashed it out? No, I've invested again into, and you're like, okay,
Into
so
something else, yeah.
until you get it out, it's not really. You ain't really won yet, have you? You
No,
haven't-
but then they're
No.
only drawing it back out into like fiat currency anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's more. At
Exactly.
least it's more of it. They
I
can
bet,
swim in
I
it.
bet if you said to them, "Can we buy gold?" They'd be like, "No, you can only
Yeah.
cash it out into cash."
What with Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if gold.
I
wonder if
remember
gold
I
people
met
take
this
Bitcoin.
guy, and he
Yeah, that's a
He
good
was-
point.
his job was that he made money online, kind of thing. He like made money through,
Oh, crypto. Sorry.
well, just like this, that, and the other. But the best thing was is he did it part time. So it's like he still wasn't making enough money off of it. So how could you say your job is making money online and you can't even fucking support yourself as a full-time job
Early
doing
days,
it? You
it's early
know.
days, man. There's not a lot of online businesses. But
But
trust me,
when I hear
when
this thing
moves
about,
over
I'm
to
a
the,
Facebook
to the
marketer, I deal in Facebook marketing, and I do the, I make money online, or I'm in Bitcoin. Most of these guys have got no money.
It's all in the Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And then you
exactly.
shift it over here as the Bitcoin. Yeah, bruv. Can I get an eighth?
can I?
You take Bitcoin. Man was trying-
Goes home to his dustbin. You know what I mean? How's the Bitcoin do?
Order a pizza.
I
man,
just
see if
bought
they
I
take
just bought
Bitcoin.
30 ads the other day on YouTube with my Bitcoin. What do
Yeah.
you buy? You buy digital stuff. That's the only thing you can buy with it.
For real?
No,
Yeah, you can buy computer games as well, can't you?
yeah.
Yeah,
But then-
digital.
and-
digital.
digital. But I did hear that
Nah, you must be able to like Amazon. They're not taking Bitcoin yet.
I don't think so. No,
No?
no.
probably
The only ones
only-
I've seen is gaming sites, though, for computer games.
Yeah.
You serious?
and other
Yeah.
other podcasts who are trying to evade the sort of money system. I think they probably have all switched over. Actually, we should take Bitcoin. Yeah, we take Bitcoin. By the way, if you got any
we're-
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
we do
We're gonna,
take Bitcoin.
yeah. Let's see. We'll chat to the the Bitcoin dude to find out.
What
if the
it's
Bitcoin-
good for the dark web
Bitcoin
as well,
for
isn't
the-
it? I think.
Yeah. What would?
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Which I've
Um,
I've never used it before. I
Bruv,
really
you
want to
been on the
know
dark
how
web?
to do it. but
Oh, bruv.
So-
You got on the dark web.
Contact me, anyone who's watching this, if you know how to do it and it's not long. Let me know.
All you
I've
gotta
got a
do.
VPN.
is
That's
get-
as far as I go.
Look, Tom Arnott in the chat brought hello Tom, all right. Tom
Yes.
we stayed with him in
Oh,
where was it? Near Hay on Wye that
yeah,
time.
yeah,
We went
yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
went to
Yes,
Wales.
Tom. Evening.
Yeah, he's, Tom. I remember this. Tom brought a Bitcoin for 30 quid 8 years ago for a laugh.
Oh, for real.
Nah.
Yeah. He's
Did he
sit
make-
there? He's no fucking idea how it works. Tom, you're a rich man.
Did he-
Retire. You can
Well,
retire.
so he's got 40 grand now then.
Yeah, he's
It's
probably-
just dropped down to. I think it's about 28 now. It's gone back up a
So
little.
if
bit.
if he cashed that out, he'd get 28
What, a
grand.
whole Bitcoin?
Yeah. Well, he bought
Wow.
one whole Bitcoin back then. Yeah.
Bruv,
Jeez.
cash it out.
8
Cash
years
it out.
ago.
Go and put some
cash
money
it
in the
out,
house.
bruv. You better hunt that
If you
down,
ain't got
man.
one already.
And
Just
you
get your digital spade, dig as deep as you can into the digital. What are they doing? Mining? What are they mining? Like some kind of digital gravel?
How do you mine it then?
Right?
How
No,
do you mine
digital
it?
soil.
Is it like a digital pickaxe?
Yeah, everything is just digis, just bare digital.
we need an expert. We need
yeah,
someone to come in.
yeah, for real. And
Because
then,
how do you mine it? Let me know and I'll go and mine for it.
who is, and furthermore, who is it that's doing the mining? Like, who's really, like, what are they getting out of
it's
it?
massive companies in Siberia now. That's where they're doing the mining. So
But what does it mean? What
they
what?
build like a big bank of computers with loads of graphics cards on them that they use for mining the. Basically, it's doing a sum over and over again, like a calculation on a computer over and over again, and eventually a number pops up or something, and that's your
Right.
Oh look, Minecraft. Your more says
Yeah,
Minecraft, yeah.
you're more.
in
You
Minecraft.
said do it in a Scottish accent, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
try. You're
and
more.
then so what they're doing is they're built. You're more.
Yeah, more.
You're more.
More.
Is
You're
that it?
more.
Did you get it right? You're more
Oh, that's a strong Scottish accent.
strong.
Um,
Is it strong?
Yeah, and so
Strong.
they're doing it in
Stop.
Siberia because it's so cold there that it keeps all the computers really cold as
Yeah,
well.
you're kidding me.
So the graphics cards, because they get really hot otherwise.
What for the
So-
Bitcoin?
Yeah, so they're
bruv.
building these big computer banks in Siberia to keep the computers cold.
What during global warming? Are they serious?
Well,
That
they're
shit's gonna-
getting a lot of shit about it.
Something doesn't add up. If the globe's warming up, and they're relying on just Siberia. They ain't even got like proper freezers, like nothing. Like, yo, let's just put it out. Just leave, I don't know,
Mate,
bruv.
it's just
How
one
we gonna
big
keep it
fridge,
cool?
isn't it, Siberia?
What?
It's
Yeah,
just a
basically.
massive
Is that
freezer.
Is that for real?
That's what we've all got to realise. It's just a big fridge. So we could keep our carrots there.
Yeah.
If we.
It's where they sent all the exiled prisoners, weren't they,
Yeah.
to Siberia?
Yeah. So it's probably Russians. Tom said it's servers running red hot all over the world, especially China. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I bet.
What, for Bitcoin? Yeah, this shit ain't, bruv. And you lot better cash out. All of you lot bragging this, that, and the third. That shit's gonna blow up. Oh, where's my Bitcoin? I don't know, bruv.
Bruv, get it out. Put some money on the house.
Act of God. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not involved. I'm not involved now. That was your Bitcoin, brother. You decided that you wanted to get in. Okay, look. Mr. Green, cryptocurrency mining explained. The term crypto mining means gaining cryptocurrencies by solving cryptographic equations through the use of computers. This process involves validating data blocks.
This is an effort post.
Yeah.
He's reached the maximum number of letters. He's going to give us a second one.
But who's decided to litter a load of Bitcoin around the internet then for people to find? What is it? How does this occur?
Bit fairies.
He says this process involves validating data blocks and adding transaction records to a public record ledger known as a blockchain.
Is it stealing then, or what?
Get me the dictionary out here, man. There's way too many four-syllable
We
words.
need a specialist.
It's just blinded by the jargon, isn't it?
So it means gaining cryptocurrencies by solving cryptographic equations. So there's a cryptographic equation that you got to solve, you use a computer to do it.
I think Mr. Green's hired, isn't he, as for the next guest?
Yeah, we might have to get Mr. Green to talk about it. If that, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think, obviously, if it's working for people, by all means, enjoy yourselves. But do remember that, you know, it is kind of pushing. If everybody gets on this whole crypto thing, if it's involved in the life we're living now, fair enough. But if they're trying to like switch it over to where everybody has to be walking around with their phone talking about, can you send me a bit of the coin that you got there, like just a little bit of it.
Apparently, Elon Musk has made more out of Bitcoin than he has out of Tesla cars. So.
Yeah, but the thing is
that true?
Yeah, apparently
he can go, okay, I'll put $1 billion on here and I'll make 1.9 back or something like that.
Well, he goes.
But when you've just got 50 quid spare in the bank and stuff like that, you know, it's just such a different ball game, isn't it, with these kind of things?
Yeah, he'll go on Twitter and say everyone should invest in this coin, and then he's probably got that coin already. He's bought it at a cheap price. He gets everyone to invest in it.
He's wiping his ass with that coin. You know what I mean?
Why don't you all dump the coin, and then he basically sells out and makes loads of money.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Elon Musk is actually an anagram for lone scum as well.
Wow,
that's a good one.
Yeah, jeez.
I think he should change his name.
Yeah, well, I don't think
where's
he's
he
gonna
from?
change it,
Is he South African?
He's South African, yeah.
Yeah, he sounds South African. Right, a bit mix up, but yeah, I don't know.
Him and Kanye West are good buddies, aren't they? I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. They did a little selfie recently, didn't they? And like he was in his house, and apparently he's got there's some massive Japanese robot or something like that he's got in his house. Elon Musk.
He's got a Japanese robot.
Yeah, but it's like it's massive, like massive.
What?
See if you can get the picture up. But it's Elon Musk and Kanye West, and then in the background you've got this. I don't know what it is, but
giant robot.
It's some giant robot or something like that.
What's the deal with that, man? The giant robot in the background. Let's take a picture.
It's some sort of thing. I think it is. I don't know if it fully works, but it's pretty impressive. It's some kind of transformer looking thing.
So what do you feel about this? He's got this whole idea of linking our brains to the cloud, isn't it?
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm not happy about it at all.
Do you think it's you?
Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I don't want none of this.
That's it, isn't it? Like, leave.
I don't want
leave
none
me
of it.
alone, bruv. Like, why
It's so
do you want to?
fucking boring.
Yeah, I just don't. I can't see how they can do that. Like, yeah, we're gonna upload your mind to this
Iris. It
machine.
could be something in your eye or something like that, won't it?
It can't be your mind though. I can't. Yeah, no, I'm a computer now. Like, yeah, so what should I do? Let me just download. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Let me go
Imagine
online
getting
and
like
search.
spam emails in your fucking eye. You know? Do you know what I mean?
Or
They're
you
like,
just get wind all the time. You
someone
get
just
spam.
drops a virus in your head and you're just like, fuck. Those are fucking.
Jeez. Oh, is this?
I don't know. I'm not happy about that at all. I don't want none of this crap. I just want to get on with things and stop being invaded. Like, here we go.
Wow.
There's another picture though. I think that's been photoshopped, you know.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah, that looks.
Caught out.
That looks a bit green screeny. Right.
You can see the
I think when the worst thing about the robot future is going to be that it's going to sort of make women like not have any purpose because once they invent robots that people have sex with, I think that's just going to completely destroy like any relationships people have between each other and all that.
Yeah, because this definitely looks like they're about to have a gangbang. Like, definitely.
Yeah.
They're just like, bro, what are you doing here with this gangbang?
He's rocked up looking like.
And I bet she takes Bitcoin.
Fucking, he works for the council, Kanye West, doesn't he?
I bet she's got a Bitcoin slot on the front.
Yeah, blatantly, man. Jesus. Is this the world we're in now, yeah?
Yeah, what was it? There was a load of conspiracy about his orange on his t-shirt as well. About what that meant.
Oh, what, carrots?
No, I think it's could be something to do with carrots, but I think it's something. It's an orange on his t-shirt. I can't remember what.
Carrots are the real currency, boy.
I'm telling you, mate.
Yeah, there's people. You know, there's this is another thing I was baffled about. There's a whole like community of what they call preppers.
Yeah,
You've got like, you know, Minnesotan prepper, Canadian prepper, prepper. Like all these people kind of prepping for, you know, the big whatever. And it's they got, you know, like big containers full of like, you know, non-perishables, tins, the beans and the rice. You're like, yo, these ain't playing around. I was baffled. Like, right, there's a whole community. This is a scene. Like they probably have festivals and shit. Imagine their festivals, like all the prepper festivals. Yo, they'll be struggling out there, but yo. You know, their backpacks and that. People just ready, just in case or that.
Yeah. I'll buy this. It lasts for 1,000 years. Don't worry. It'll never go mouldy.
Woo.
Who do they have appearing at their festivals?
Who'd be performing that?
Special guest.
The Prepper Festival.
Prepper Fest.
Yeah.
Prepper Fest.
Prepper Fest.
Prepper Fest. What kind of bands would be there? There must be some good names. The Cure.
They'll just all be ready. The Cure, you know. The Levers.
Cure would be there.
The Levers.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones, the landlords. They'll be the ones like, you know what I mean? Where they're just ready. Anytime they're ready to just bounce. You know that up and ready. There's no. They got all their shit with them everywhere they go.
Yeah, just close the hatch, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm off.
They don't even have a tent. They just like pack the tent away every morning at the festival. Put back in the rucksack.
They got them
just
tents.
in case.
You know them tents where you just throw them up in the air. It just pops out. Yeah, then quick
the pop-up tents.
Yeah, I'm just going to get 15 minutes here. Preppers, boy. Fucking hell. I couldn't believe it, bruv. Yeah, gold, silver. You know, they're ready for it, man. Who the fuck knows, man? We could be there. We could be at the end of the world. I don't think so just yet, though. But, you know, I think there's a picture being painted out there for us.
You feel like you're on a sort of an edge of something, don't you?
Yeah.
Whether it's positive or negative, it's hard to find out at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's Easy D Rocker. Shout out to Biggs in the building.
Yeah.
What I think, is that a lot of that sort of the negative side. A lot of what people feel is going on is kind of almost like Chinese whispers in a way. There's a lot of media. You know, it's not stuff that we're seeing with our own eyes. It's more stuff that we're reading or things, videos, and pardon me, like media that can be manipulated, but also sensationalized. And there's it seems like everyone, there's that whole, this energy's been flowing for a little while, longer than with all this stuff going on, where people just seem to want to put out and throw out stuff that's whoa, look at this, oh, did you see that, oh, like we can laugh at that or whatever. And I think that's what's happened obviously within this last year or so, is what's happened, where a lot of stuff has been put out, and instead of like really sort of looking at it close up to make sure, I think it's highlighted that there's a lot of people that don't really, they kind of skim read, or they just read the headlines and then spread the word that way. And I think a lot of that has happened, and it's kind of had this roll-on effect where people are a bit shook and over. They're kind of overdoing it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been. I think we're like in the mix of a couple of things. Like one of them's definitely a generational shift. So like where there is now a rise of a different generation coming through, and obviously they're also the children of our generation, aren't they? So there's a lot of responsibility on our generation in terms of what kids are like nowadays and stuff. And anyway, so yeah, there's sort of a lot of changes that have happened all at the same time, and I think it's why things have been so sort of crazy all at once. Because the misinformation thing, or how news gets spread, even in the printed days, it was still they used to say that the Daily Mail was read by the wives of the business owners, and then the news was fed back into the business owner by the wife in bed at night time. It was that specific about how the Daily Mail transferred its news into its readers. So it was all through the women, who then fed it into the husband, and it would all be through Chinese whispers, So in a way, it's kind of always been like that, but we've just had it's much more open now. I think the probably the bad thing about it is that we can hear more opinion than we should be able to. When things weren't so connected as they were now, you could go away and not hear a load of negative things about you, but they'd still be being said. It's like the whole, if a tree falls in the woods, do you hear it kind of thing. So it's a mix of all of that, isn't it? And people getting probably that localized fame from digital things that they wouldn't have had before, and probably acting out a character and
it's interesting,
putting on these personas and things.
Interesting as well that like back in the day, the monarchy would have, there would be like plays that they would do. They would all kind of act out some form of play that's been written and whatnot, and that would be kind of spread in the news.
The Mask,
called The Mask, right? And so so all their subjects, all the whoever's watching can then go spread that news throughout the land, and so they could come up with whatever they wanted. They, whether the king slayed the dragon on the hill, and whatever they wanted, and then people go and spread it because they think, that really happened or whatnot.
This is where Shakespeare started. That's what they started. James the First, obviously King James Bible, but he started funding Shakespeare's plays to go around the country, and then they started funding people to do Bible readings around the country, because they're trying to start something new. So, and when you look at what Shakespeare's about, it's all the history of the accepted history of what kings came first, what their relationship was to what other kings.
Well, they say that he was just a royal machine, wasn't he? That he didn't exist. He was just a a machine of the sort of elites who created this, right? You know, that's one side of it. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. You know, but yeah, early propaganda has always existed.
Yeah.
You know, I think even Queen Elizabeth had like spies and shit like that. You know, just to listen to what people were saying.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
You know.
You're trying to hold down your lands.
It's one of the most unregulated industries as well, like news.
Is it?
Yeah, there's no regulation to it at all because it's freedom of press, isn't it?
So yeah, they're allowed to put out whatever they want, whether it's real or not, whether it's true or not.
To a certain degree, because there is like D notices, which is, you know, the military
Or libel and things like that.
Well,
of course,
the military has like these things called D notices, which means that the military always has the final say over what goes out in the press. So they can put like a D notice on a piece of information, and that although that information, although you and me might know about it.
You mean if it was sensitive or something like that?
Yeah, they're not allowed to put it in the press at all. So you'll never read about that piece of information.
Yeah, but considering there's not a central, I mean, it's, you know, it's probably, there's a reason why there's not a central person who checks all the facts and
there should be
decides whether they're right or wrong.
There should
That's
be
why it's quite unregulated.
There should be a public body that regulates the press properly.
I know, but then if that gets taken over by the wrong people, then it becomes a biased regulator. So in a way, it's almost better to let the people decide, isn't it? I guess, I don't know.
I mean, it feels like they're taking over anyway, and it's just not out in the open. Do you know what I mean? Like when you see headlines, there are a bunch of different outlets with the same exact headlines, and you know, and blurbs as well. Then it's quite obvious this is coming from one source, and you know, so they're all just blast. And so that feels a bit like it's already biased. It's already in a way kind of.
Of course, it is.
Some form
I mean,
of
there's what was it? Who was it? Miliband or whatever. When he was going for Labour, when he was in the general election, there was one picture lost him the election, and it was him eating a bacon sandwich or whatever.
Brilliant picture.
Yeah, but that's
the most awkward bacon
the
sandwich.
media who've done that. The media.
What's the deal with
what's the deal with the bacon sandwich?
Yeah,
I don't think he normally eats bacon. That's what the deal was with it.
Yeah, or it was just the way he was eating it. He looked incompetent, didn't he? I think.
Oh wow, like he was all dropping.
Oh, well, it was all like.
Okay.
It was the weirdest picture you've seen, but it just didn't do him any justice, and they just played on that, and it fucked him basically.
Yeah, well, you know how that goes, man. The life that we live is crazy, man. But like I said, I think I mentioned it, man, that I can't lie. I'm enjoying these wake-up calls that have been happening, you know, the things that we're starting to realize about the world. I think it's better than we know than we don't. Shout to D Rocker. He says, you know, you guys are saying stuff that gets skimmed over. He said, top of the news today is about the sensationalism of what Dominic Cummings had to say. Hidden in the news is that the Hillsborough trial has been halted by a judge and that no one will be charged. And
yeah,
see, that's
and
the
that's
sort of
something
things they do,
quite
man.
close to me because I'm a Liverpool fan. You know, I have been from since I was like 5 years old. So it's disgusting what happened there.
Yeah, that's the sort of things
But
they
yeah,
do.
you know, with the Hillsborough thing, you also have to be quite careful what you say because you can ruin a lot of the court cases and things like that if you go online too much and talk about it. So I know a lot of people have been silenced by these ongoing court cases as well. But I mean, I'm glad he mentioned that actually because, you know, you're thinking that was the newspaper that started all of that. And I always think of that's the one thing this country seems to always pick on Scousers all the time. You know, Liverpool, you know, you drive to Liverpool, you're going to get your car robbed or, you know, everyone does burglaries up. There's always this sort of certain attitude that Southerners seem to have, you know, a really snobby attitude towards them. And that was accentuated by the Sun putting in, you know, do you know all about it? You know about it, obviously. But when the Sun produced the front page and it said that the Liverpool fans were urinating on the dead and stealing from their pockets, and also beating up policemen and trying to stop ambulance people from getting to the dead bodies and all this kind of stuff. And to this day, they've still never. Well, I think it finally got confirmed that it wasn't the fans that caused this; it was the stadium management. But a lot of the people in charge at that point have never actually been brought to justice. And the Sun printed all of this stuff about the Liverpool fans, and forever after then, Liverpool fans had this reputation of being, these dirty scousers or whatever. And it's, it's that classism, really. The Sun newspaper, the people that read the Sun.
The stories sound like Second World War propaganda stories that they're trying to paint a picture in the press of these people being absolute scumbags and
exactly
animals.
That's why it happened.
You know something's wrong when they're like having to editorialize so hardcore about a group of people.
Yeah.
Because
well, one of the last words.
Why are they having to plant that in people's heads? Why are they having to create the image?
The last words of one of the guys who died on his deathbed, he said "mum" was his last word, And it's like, you're talking about all these animals and thugs or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't sound like much of one to me.
The thing is, it's a deflection as well, because the obvious fact is that someone decided to keep them gates locked, and you can't blame that on the fans. So no matter how much they say this, that, and the third, it's like, yeah, but someone's accountable for all of that.
Yeah.
Someone from the grounds is accountable, whether it be it could be the police or whoever. But it's interesting what D-Rock is saying about how, this was the big news, because that's what I saw. I don't really watch the news or nothing, but sometimes you're scrolling through the timeline and then someone's obviously talking about today's current, what what they call it? What you lot giving a fuck about today shit. And And so it was Dominic Cummings, blah blah blah. He kind of it looked like he was dissing Boris and whatnot, and so it's like, right, he's I don't know, man. People want to believe this shit when it comes out, but when it comes out from certain outlets, I think it's kind of obvious that it ain't what it seems. It's kind of what we're talking about, and then to realize that the real big news that they were probably hiding by chatting like that was actually this thing with Hillsborough that's been going on. They've been dragging it out for years. Like, how can you be dragging that out for years when it's we can sit here and figure out, okay, who should be accountable?
Yeah.
Right. And now, someone's saying that they've thrown it out and no one's getting prosecuted, apparently.
Yeah, and it just sets,
crazy,
I'm sure they'll keep appealing for that, but it just gives that all of the families involved. And bearing in mind, some of the families are dead now, the actual parents that were trying to seek that justice and are not even here anymore. So the longer they drag it out, the more silent it will become. And Liverpool Football Club need to do as much as they can to keep it in the spotlight for as long as possible, because, 96 people, the responsibility of their deaths has not been, given to anyone yet, and that's the thing they're scared to do, I think.
It's nuts, bruv. It's crazy, man. Shout out to Tom Arnott. He says Tom Arnott said that he sold his ticket to that match, so he dodged a bullet.
Jesus.
And something about one of the bereaved. What did he say? I missed it.
One of the bereaved said, "We're tired. Damn, it made me cry. Getting justice when you're up against the machinery of the state is impossible." Yeah, they'll basically, if they can't pass the blame all the way down to like the least culpable person, like they did at Grenfell, they said it's the fire brigade are to blame. Really.
Yeah,
they try and palm it all off on the fire brigade.
Deep,
people who turned up to save lives.
Man.
But what so Hillsborough, I'm surprised they didn't just say it's the groundsman's fault and then just leave it at that.
Boy,
well,
man.
Imagine the same thing happened at Lord's Cricket Ground or Wimbledon. And then imagine Grenfell happened at Canary Wharf.
Yeah,
you see two different responses.
And it's true what he's saying, man. Like, I do feel like that these sort of things happen, and you know, it seemed to be obviously accidents, but the way they're dragged out, you know, the way they're not sorted out, like, and there's always something pops up, whether it be, you know, Madeline McCann or Stephen Lawrence, as someone's mentioned, obviously the Grenfell, they seem to drag them out like, rah, how can you lot, you're talking about, oh, we lost the files to this, that, and the third, but we can download some kind of program that will recover your files from, you know what I mean? Like, why are they talking about? I say it always seems a bit dodgy to me, man. It always seems like there's more to it than just, and
Well, it's an attack on the working class, though, isn't it? Like the Grenfell and Hillsborough are attacks on the working class. With Madeleine McCann, like there's clear parallel. There's cases that are exactly the same as hers from families who are much worse off than. I think Madeleine McCann's dad was a doctor or whatever. You know, they had their status job wise. There's other cases that have happened of missing children that never had the same kind of publicity, and in fact some of those parents were accused of murdering, you know, because people didn't fit the narrative of looks, of class, of
storyline,
you know, or they didn't look, you know, simply just didn't look appealable to the camera, you know.
It's true. So show business,
the media
man.
plays a big role in these things, and in when it comes to working class people or people not as well off, they get attacked by the media, and they're always blamed because they're the easy target.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll pass the blame down to whoever's the least responsible for it and has got the least ability to be able to actually do anything about it. So, someone said they basically put all of the account for. I think Tom must be on about Hillsborough. Is he the health and safety officer? Got £6,500 fine or something.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I'm saying. They push it all right down to like the person who is furthest away from actual responsibility or a position where he could have actually done anything about it. And
Jesus.
Yeah.
$6,500.
I mean,
after that long.
Yeah.
Nasty, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is disgusting, man. That's it.
I mean, you know, and the health and safety officer, I mean, the health and safety was totally compromised on that day.
Yeah, it's sad, man. These sort of things happen, and boy, it's, the whole, you know, the side of it where it just forever carries on, and then, like, it does feel like that. They probably wait until families kind of pass on and, you know, there's less people sort of kind of holding them liable or anything.
Yeah.
And then
like Stephen Lawrence created great debate, didn't he? You know, there was the kind of the people like us who knew it was a murder, and then there's the sort of the other racist side who thought he was a drug dealer who had it coming. You know, there was that, and that's why it carried on in the media, because it was so divisive. It kept everyone talking.
Yeah. It's very divisive, and yeah, man. God bless the dead, man. You know, I don't even want to speak disrespectful about his family or nothing, but no. There always seems to, it just seems like when things are played out to that point where there's movies, you know, there's a movie there, then it feels like, okay, there's probably more to this than leads the eye. And the way everyone's always glued to their TV set about it, it's just like, right, this is properly an ongoing affair when we know what's happened. Like, all right, we can't be getting fooled all the time anymore, man.
No. I think, you know, one too many chances.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, man.
Should we go onto Killa's track?
Yeah, man. Let's do that.
Go out on a
Well,
high.
we got the snippet of the Are we gonna play?
So selfishly, I just put my verse in.
Yeah, right. So talk about this track then. This is coming out. We don't know when this is coming out, but it's Anonymous.
Yeah.
Featuring Killa
Priest and
Emcee Killa.
Anno Domini on the beats.
Anno Domini on the beats. Armageddon.
And there's another guy called Pucker B who does the guitars in it as well.
Shout out to Packer B. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, on this, man, you come with there's some crazy bars on this one, bruv. Like,
Yeah, man.
where was, where did you
I dug
draw the
into my Persian
inspiration
past,
to?
you know.
Yeah, for real. Yo,
Just
it
dug into my
sounded
Persian
sweet,
past.
bro.
It's just I think I was inspired by his verse because I heard it first anyway. And as I
nice.
say, he puts them kind of pictures into your head and stuff. And I heard the theme that he was going on, and he was using some sort of historical references. So I decided to put my own in, man. And one of them talks about, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Centurion, The Centurion before. It's got Dominic West from The Wire in it, and it's basically about how the Romans experienced north of England and Scotland, and it was just before they built Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
And basically the Celts and the Picts absolutely slaughtered the Romans on a daily basis, to the point that the Romans wanted to leave, and that's why they built the wall, to stop the Celts and the Picts from attacking them all the time.
I see.
So, like the inspiration of that was where, Romans' heads were being stuck on steeples, and
Yeah.
Hadrian's Wall, was the sign that we were never equal in the first place, and so I sort of drew some inspiration from that, and some bits about Persian history and the kind of the holy wars.
Yeah, let's
which
get
I thought,
into it, man.
this is kind of, it's something I'm interested in, but it complemented what he was saying as well. So
Yeah. Nah, for sure, man.
there's
It's
no point in me coming in talking about, I don't know, something completely different.
What did
So
everyone,
yeah, I stuck with that.
What did everyone think of it? Did you get feedback on the track?
Yeah. So yeah, I got all positive feedback from it. I've probably not gauged that much feedback as I could, but I prefer being like that. Just let it bubble in its own way and let people talk about it. But whether I'm privy to that or not, I don't mind.
What
But
about the other people on the track? What did they give you any? Did they give you any feedback on your verse?
Who's that?
The other people on the track.
Yeah, I mean, like the guy that asked me to do it, he definitely, was really rating it. Killer Priest, I've never heard a response from him, but I kind of wasn't really expecting one. And Anno Domini, he liked it a lot as well. I mean, they've all put their names on it at the end of the day, so they're all aware of its release and things like that. So
yeah.
And I've heard some of the, those review shows we were talking about who have these kind of setups. I've heard a few of them, and they're all like hardcore American sort of shows, and they didn't seem to sort of shirk at my accent, so
Sick.
that seemed to go down all right. Because that's what you're worried about really with the Americans, is that they're just going to hear your British accent and just switch off straight away. But no, they seem to be tuning in a bit more now, I think.
Yeah, there was a while. I remember when I bumped into Eighth One, a guy from New Jersey, and he was talking about that, how he was listening to One Extra, like he was listening to Sarah Love Show and One Extra, and Excalibur and that, and so he used to list, like, because they were saying on New York radio, it was just all the commercial shit, so they weren't really hearing that much underground. They were hearing more of it, like US as well as UK stuff street, listening to BBC One Extra or whatever. So it's quite interesting, like, he was saying to me, "Oh, so Chester P, and I was like, "Man, I don't really like." Okay, so there's a lot of artists that from that sort of around that era, that time when One Extra just started popping, and 2-3 years into it, where worldwide people were hearing the music. So I think a lot of people did start getting used to the English accent from early anyway, and then all the grime stuff and all that. That's popped off since then.
Well, I think that Excalibur show, man, they used to be I used to love them shows, man, that you did.
Mm.
And then was it Rodney P and Skits after him or before
Um,
on One Extra? Because they had a show, but I don't think it was
what?
at the same time as Excalibur, was it?
No, it was after. It was after.
It was after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it might. They might have had at the same time, but I think it was after.
Yeah.
Man, that was a time, innit? Jeez.
Yeah. I remember there was this one like
Wow.
special they did. It had, I don't know if you was on it, you might have been on it, but I know Task Force was on it, Jess was on it, Out Deville was on it, and they were all doing like freestyles in the studio kind of thing.
Mm.
And it was like the whole of One Extra was just dedicated to UK hip hop at that time, you know?
Yeah.
And it was
it's
just
true. I
like,
forgot about that, man.
you could not imagine that now, could you really? You just
Nah.
couldn't imagine it.
Nah, it'll be a shock if you're on there, you know what I mean? Or somehow you're in
Yeah.
there already. But you know,
Now
that's
it's a
how
lot
it goes,
more. It's a
man.
lot more reggae, you know, Caribbean music based. I think now that's what the bulk of their listeners are.
Mm. Well, you see, that's why we're here, man, doing this. We
Yeah.
figured it's best somehow, some way we start getting the news spread out the way that it needs to be, straight from the core, as opposed to via some outlet that can't remember your name unless they're reading it off of your press release.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? You know them ones where they just ask you bare questions that's on your press release already.
I know.
So you're like, oh man,
or
that
when they're
press
like,
release is like
we're
a
going to
year
do
and
an
a half
article
old.
on you, and they just print your press release.
Yeah. Nah, man. So we figured it's probably best if we do our own thing. You know what I mean? Get
Yeah.
together, chat with people, because you know, like I was saying at the beginning, not many artists get to really let people know who they really are. You know, unless
Yeah,
it's
you always rush through these things, aren't you?
yeah, man. And I think now's a good time than ever for people to get to know us all, get to know the UK hip hop scene. You know, hear
Definitely.
stories, obviously, about back in the day, how things were. You know,
Well,
from the
you're probably
inside
one
and
of the
out.
longest serving people out there at the moment, right?
Nah, I don't know. I think there's a few others.
One of them. You know, I know there are a few, but in terms of consistency, I think, you know,
Cheers,
you've
bro.
got to be up there. Definitely.
Appreciate that, brother, and appreciate you passing
All day,
through as
man.
well, man. For real.
No, it's a pleasure to be on there, and thanks a lot for asking me, you know, and I'm just glad to be on one of your early shows, you know,
Yeah,
and
man.
I know these are going to get much bigger, you know a lot of people and can get a lot of people on here, and I think anyone who's watching today, just make sure you spread that word, and if you couldn't catch it, just watch the replay.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, brother.
Thank you.
Let's get get this verse going, man. Jeez. Alright.
Bring death to the ancient order. The eagle's nest isolates every reign of torture. Fame and fortune, Romans forsake their people. Centurion heads on the stakes of steeple. Hadrian's wall shows we were never equal. We rejoice in the death of your tainted evil. Painted blue like a fresh vein, we absorb immense pain from the dead slain, so we paint on easel. The assassins in Zoroastrian law sink like gold on the Caspian floor. Power change plans in Byzantium wars. We exist by the hands of Feodosy and more. Now petroleum rules like Napoleon's force, exploiting the poor and destroy your resorts. For the coin is anointed, controlling the cause, leaving us with the option revolt and record. Looking hopeless in these days and times.
Jeez.
Killa. His name is Emcee Killa.
Alright, let's listen to it again. Let's have a listen back.
Hey, what, reload, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, you know, my gunshot buttons weren't working.
Is it? Right, see, we're stepping up though. We're stepping up. The gunshot
we'll have
buttons.
the gunshot
Yeah.
buttons next time you're on.
Yeah, I mean.
You could play the track.
What, you want to play the whole track? Yeah.
You could do, yeah, so people can hear the Killer Priest verse and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a good idea, actually.
Alright. Just carry on talking. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. I was just going to say there was a line in there about Feodosy, and people probably don't know who he is, but he's a Persian poet that people say is the savior of the whole Persian language, which is called Farsi. And the Egyptians always said that if they had had someone like him, they would have kept their original language, because you know Egyptians speak Arabic.
Yeah.
They don't have their
Is it
actual. I'm not even sure whether there's a native language that exists there anymore, because it was completely wiped out.
the ancient Kemet language?
Well, yeah, I don't know enough about it to be able to say exactly what it is, but I know that the Arabs weren't there originally, so obviously for them speaking Arabic means they've lost an original language, whereas the Persians kept theirs, which was Farsi, and it was through their poets that they did it, because they kept texts of what they had written down and things like that. So he's like the savior of Persian language.
Damn, man, imagine that.
Yeah. Well, just having no ties to a previous language that you spoke, it just must be a weird. I suppose we've probably got it here as well.
Yeah. I think we've all got it in some
In that
form
respect,
already.
yeah.
I think we definitely got it now. Like if you look at Black's dictionary, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, we got it all wrong, bruv.
And you're not talking about black words. You're talking about actual Black dictionary.
Yeah, Black's dictionary,
dictionary.
Law dictionary. I
I was
should
gonna
say
say,
Black's
Not the
law
Black People
dictionary.
Dictionary.
Yeah. Well, you got that as well, the Ebonics dictionary, innit? That's taken us even further away from the real language. But yeah, if you look at, like, we'll do it in one session. We'll have a look at like words, the meaning of words in say like the normal regular dictionary, like Oxford Dictionary. Then we'll go and look at the meaning of words in the same word in the Black's Law Dictionary. We'll do that. You lot be up for that? We'll do that one session.
Yeah, is that all the legalese stuff and all that?
And then etymology of words as well. Like I'm really into it because it's quite interesting knowing that we're using words in a way that don't sound the same as we think. Sometimes they're like the complete opposite of what we.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like I always.
And there's also like there's a big difference between capital letters and, you know, like names being in capital letters are more official than, you know, in smaller letters and things like that. You know, and there's like official ways that things need to be done when addressed formally, you know.
Yeah. There's a style to it. There's people don't even know there's actually laws in which you have to abide by to write a letter and it be formal. You know, like there's all these sort of, you know, different ways of understanding how things should be presented in order for them to be accepted by the other party that we're not really taught about. So it's really interesting, man. Shout out to Alexander Morrison. He says, Wagwan people, what's going on, bruv? Easy official rumble. He's saying gems. D-Rocker said MC Killa, informative chat. Definitely going to go back on this one. Got to watch the other two. Yes, bruv. Well.
Respect, brother.
Shout to Rumble, Chrysler chat.
Oh, is Rumble on there, is he?
Yeah, man.
Oh, big up
Official
Rumble, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So,
Should you stick this track on?
yeah, you ready to play it? All right.
I think so.
We're going to hear the whole track now. Jeez, world premiere.
War of Armageddon, honor and peasants. Those guarding the weapon, either conquered or protected. The beast will be beheaded, the statue stand naked. Dead is unrested, no need for paramedics. Hellfire, pair pliers for barbed wires. Jail riders, nail biters, fell messiahs. Jeremiah 14, verse 38. If it does not exist, then what chapters did I miss? Baphomets, Horus looking through the eye pyramids. Anglo-Saxons, Anunnaki, star called Sirius. All is condensed to a plan called COVID. All is predicted from a man called Moses. All is recycled from a band of poets. Plagues, the land of famine and locusts. Hocus pocus, outdoor cafe in summer. Legendary, hope you ready. After lightning, then thunder. The Viking knights and the witch hunters.
I bring death to the ancient order. The eagle's nest isolates every reign of torture. Fame and fortune, Romans forsake their people. Centurion heads on the stakes of steeple. Hadrian's wall shows we were never equal. We rejoice in the death of your tainted evil. Painted blue like a fresh vein, we absorb immense pain came from the dead slain, so we paint on easels. The assassins in Zoroastrian law sink like gold on the Caspian floor. Power change plans in Byzantium wars. We exist by the hands of Fedosian Moor. Now petroleum rules like Napoleon's thoughts, exploiting the poor and destroy your resorts. For the coin is anointed, controlling the cause, leaving us with the option, revolt and record.
Looking hopeless in these days and times. A wolf alone amongst the sheep, losing focus. Got a pace in place of praying crime. Eviction notice, you can't stay and shine when others notice. Yeah, they colors show emotions, blowing up a wasted mind. Human beings deviated past the basic expectations of an ancient race of advanced aliens. There's nothing realer than the realest ancient, and just how meaningless life is, and that the meaning was the realization. And half the class miseducated and the masses medicated, make the task that and much more dangerous. After that we meditated, all we had we dedicated to the path, and from the aftermath took elevators. Your consciousness call out, feeling bonkers on the psilocybin fungus to your third eyeball fall out. The word is smarter, life forms mocking us all. We germs on larger life forms living walking on guard. It's all we get.
Killing guitars.
Wow, that's my man on the guitar.
Yeah.
Killers.
Get the machine gun in there.
Yo, Anonymous got a bunch of killers on there, boy. You know what I mean? Bare
Thanks a lot.
assassinations going on. Blood
Anonymous
bath.
comes good on it as well, man. I
Yeah,
rate
man.
him. He's
Yeah,
good.
you all killed that, man.
Yeah.
That was
That's it.
fire, boy. Jeez, yeah,
Nah,
he needs to
thanks,
get that
man.
out ASAP.
No, thanks for letting us play it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And people, make sure you go and grab that as soon as it's out, please. Or, hop on your Spotify or whatever it is nowadays.
Just
Yeah.
let us know when it's on. We'll push it out, obviously.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I'll try and get you the full video as well.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah,
That'd be sick, man.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So you lot follow at Killa on Twitter, on the Instagram. You know what I mean?
It's at Emcee Killa lot
Oh,
on
yeah,
Twitter,
Emcee Killa
and then
lot, sorry.
at Emcee Killa or at Emcee_Killa. MC spelled EMCEE. So please follow me and let's build together.
Yeah, man. Appreciate chatting to you, bruv.
Yeah.
No, like I say, man, thanks a lot for having me. And look, I know you lot are gonna do big things with this, and I really hope it progresses as it should do. I love the setup and everything, and keep
working
coming
on
with
it,
these
man.
great graphics and that as well,
Yeah,
man.
we're
It, just
working
looks,
on
it looks
bruv.
proper.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
It's DNA right there, boy. Yeah,
No,
man.
man, you've done a good job. You've done a good job. Honestly, 2 cameras as well, and the mic set up.
Yeah,
It's
man.
nothing can go wrong.
Got
So
a few nice cushions to put in here at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe some
Get some candles and
fairy
that.
lights, candles,
Yeah.
scented oils.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what.
Drinks cabinet.
I saw a picture the other day of Super T with DJ MK at some. I can't remember what it was. Get him on your show, please.
Oh, Super T.
on your
Is he
show.
back around then, yeah?
I saw a picture of him with MK at something. It was like an art museum or something.
Okay. What reason? Like, is it a recent picture or old picture?
It was definitely a recent picture.
Yeah, okay. I'll hunt him down, man. Jeez,
Bro,
that'll be
get
a
him
good
on your
chat.
show,
Yeah,
man,
for real.
please.
Yeah, that would be a good chat,
And then
man.
even on top of that, imagine like Champions of Nature or something like that, because
Yeah.
Lewis Parker, yeah.
So just to leave out, which when you look back and reminisce on the UK hip hop world, like who are the artists that you're appreciating out there?
What when I first yourself? So
Nah,
yourself,
no.
Task Force, Fire Life Cypher, Rodney P, Roots Maneuver, Universal Soldiers, Jest.
Yeah.
I lived in Nottingham for a bit, so I was into Scorsese a lot, Capo as well. I liked a lot of his stuff. Big up Charisma as well.
Jeez, Charisma. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but yeah, a
Wow.
big wide range. But probably Task Force was probably one of my big standouts. I think.
Yeah.
I think they had a connection with me for definite.
They made some
And
waves, man.
you know, Chester inspired so many people as well at the time, and as with so many other people. But you know, I think like I've always said it to you, the £10 bag thing. You know, I know that's now looking to resurface again, which I'm really excited about. So I thought I love not compilation albums, but I love projects which have loads of different people on them. I've always done it. You know, we was talking about that Tony Touch project, the Peacemaker earlier.
The Peacemaker.
You know,
Jeez, what an album.
the funk. I used to love the Funk Flex albums. You know, because you just be like, you got this rapper here, and then you know, next minute you flip into someone else, and you've just got all these different people coming on. And I think sometimes when you have these sort of collaborative projects, because somebody's doing one track, that track is a fucking banger. You know, there's like, it's always going to be tough because people are always going to want to shine on it. So I think that those mixtapes that came out at that time, I know there were others as well. Like MK had one called Bangers and Mash, I think it was. You know, all of those mixtapes were the best chance for you to hear what the whole scene was saying at the time. And I'm sure there were probably other artists that never even made it in their mixtapes.
Yeah, there's the Underground Alliance ones I remember from back then as well.
Mate, DJ Moody, man, the construction skills. That was a fucking amazing mixtape, man. Where you had like Skinny Man doing freestyles on it. But you know, I think there was a lot of artists that I never ever heard since that were on there, but made some solid tracks on there, you know?
Yeah, man. Those are the days, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Mixtapes, man.
Alexander Morrison's asked, what's the song on £10 bag? The guy's cooking a chicken. Is that, it might be Young Gun, no?
Oh, no. That's Mad Runnings by Ricochet.
Oh, it's Ricochet. Yeah.
So Universal Soldiers, man.
Yeah,
That's
another group. Boy, jeez.
You know, their video on the Dark and Cold, you know, their little section on the Dark and Cold thing, I still watch that today. You know, it's so hard.
Man, Dark and Cold, boy, those were the days as well, man. Deal Wheel Records, and then round the corner was Dark and Cold. You could go in there, get a little, you know what I mean? They used to have like the mixtapes and that CDs and whatnot. Videos as well, DVDs, you know, like, so you could be hip to what's going on in the US. But then like when they started doing the their own ones, you know, and putting like UK on there, that was like, it solidified a lot of people, man.
Yeah,
those are the days, boy. Jeez.
Centralized. It was all centralized. You had like music, fashion, performances. You had performances some nights of the week. I remember seeing I remember seeing Deal Real. I remember seeing like Damon Dash turn up or something at the time.
Fucking hell.
Watching artists there, and someone, I can't remember who he was interested in, who was performing there. They used to have in stores all the time down there. Who was it I saw there?
Yeah, I've seen a few people.
Ghostface.
Have you seen Ghostface?
Deal
Real.
Yeah. It's just
something
going on all the time. You know?
Shout out to Pete Bond, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
Taking it back, boy.
But saying that, there was that thing down at the chip shop not that long ago. It must have been a year, maybe 2 ago. But Be Real was down in the chip shop, and he just started spitting to Insane in the Brain. And it was just like, what? I mean, could you just imagine being there, man, in the place like the chip shop? We just had the mic, no stage, obviously.
Yeah, I rate the chip shop.
Bars packed and just Insane in the Brain comes on. It's like, what?
It's such an intimate moment in it to have, like, in that place, because it's so, you know, you wouldn't expect that. Oh, right, you could put a whole bunch of people in there and have a party. It's like, yeah, it works, man.
Yeah.
And so when you see people like that performing, it's kind of surreal because it's so intimate. You're so up and close, and it's like, right, yo, this is hip hop for real. Like this, you know, it must even take them back as well, because it does.
It's got to, man, because it's where everyone's the same, isn't it? We're all at the same height, you know. We're all just doing this. We're all in this together.
Yeah, man. Jeez, crazy nights, boy. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wicked, brother.
Let's bring him back, man. Let's bring him back.
Yeah. Hopefully, man. Hopefully, hopefully we could do that, innit?
Once we all get vaccinated, everything.
Get
Yeah. Yeah. Well, next time I'm on here, I should have a third or fourth arm. You know what I mean? So it should be all right.
Oh, Jesus. Yo, shout out to everybody that was in tune live with us in the chat room, man. We appreciate all of you mother lovers out there. Yermore. Yermore. Shout out to Collie. He said Lee Scott and the Blah Records boys. Yeah, that would be sick if we could get them on. That would be really dope, man. Shout out to Alexander Morrison. Mad Runnings. I think that's the tune. That would be him. That would be Ricochet for real. Sounds like a title that he'd give a track. If I don't say so. Yo,
I reckon that your more is your ma, isn't it, in Scottish?
Your ma.
Like your
I
mum.
think so, yeah.
your ma.
Your
Your
ma.
more. Yeah, I was really fucked up my Scottish accent, innit? Like I'm just
Your
not
ma.
getting it, boy. Your ma.
Your ma.
Your ma. Your ma. Yer. Ma.
Go back to your fucking ma.
Yeah, on that note, brother, good chatting to you, man. Cheers. Oh, I ain't got that. Oh, yeah.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much,
bro.
MC Killa.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Peace,
MC
fellas.
Killa.
Thanks a lot for having me on, man. And
I appreciate it,
all the
bro.
best. And yeah, keep going strong with this. It's really, really good, man.
Thanks,
And I'll be
brother,
tuning
man.
in next time.
Appreciate
pal.
that, brother, man. Definitely, man. Got to do that again. Make some noise for MC Killa, mother lovers. Shh.
Respect people.
All right. Shout out to
All right.
everyone that was locked in, man. We appreciate all of you lot. Peace, bruv. Yeah. See it there. That was MC Killa, man. Definitely one to watch from out of the scene. That guy, he's special, man. He's got a voice, he's got flow, and he's got content as well. As you could hear in that verse there, standing toe to toe, you know what I mean, with one of the Wu-Tang Killer Bees over a crazy beat as well. You heard his stuff with, like what we played with Caxton Press as well, man. I think that's one of the artists people should definitely start supporting because he puts, you can tell that he puts a lot of thought and work into his craft. You know what I mean? He doesn't just spew any and everything. And you know what I mean? People like that I think should be getting appreciated, man. So that's what we're trying to do with this thing right here, because it's one of them things where you can't expect people out there to do what we think should be happening. We just got to take the reins ourselves and do this mother lover right here on the Mysdiggi podcast. I got my brother Dan DNA holding down the boards. You know what I mean? What are we gonna do now? I think we're gonna call it a night because how long we done now? It's been nearly, what is it, 2 hours? Shout out to Chris LeChat. Shout out to Mr. Green, said he'll tune in. Chris LeChat said he'll tune in next time. Mr. Green, peace. Yeah, ma. Peace.
2 hours, 37 minutes.
Right, 2 hours, 37 minutes. Right, we're getting good at this, boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Well, we got to leave now, man. Thank you lot for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and subscribe. Right, I said that right, innit?
You missed that word smash.
So, yeah. Oh, let me do that again. I'm going to go for, all right, let me draw my inner Denzel Washington. Okay. Like and smash that subscribe button. Nah, they're supposed to smash. Share.
Like, share, and subscribe. Smash the like button.
Smash that like button.
Just press the share button, and then smash the like button.
Share the like button. You don't know what to do. Spread the word, man. We're going to do our best to try and make this even better the next time. We're going to keep stepping it up, man. Shout out to D-Rocker, my brother. Bless up. All you mother lovers out there. We'll see you soon, man. Alexander Morrison.